Okay,
An
okay.
owl.
My stream looks okay now.
There's
There's
like
like
an owl in
there's like
Sylvanas.
a parrot
Just Hashi
right
so
ar-
bad. Yeah, it could be on
yeah,
the
Okay,
it's
so
like
beach.
new
right
new
around like
new
no, it could be
conquest
like right
map.
around the corner, like it could be like in a
Hello,
bush, like right
hello.
around the
New
corner,
conquest
and
map.
it could be like it could
Chaos.
be like a Sobek is right in
Chaos
front.
side is lighter.
We skip past that, except the basic wildlife.
Yeah, add some basic wildlife. We have
Says
to
it's
talk
not
about
final
that.
though.
It's gonna make Changa a little more broken.
Okay,
Yeah,
so the gods of buffs are Chang'e, Sylvanas, Hashi Sobek.
and anyone with a pet.
Anyone else?
It'll be just so it'll be so
Who's-
Oh,
confusing.
Bastet. There could be cats running around.
Mhm.
Anubis. Someone could think a dog is Anubis.
Fenrir.
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 No,
It's like a
Fenrir is
Doge.
not released.
Doge.
Yeah.
Added temporary
that's
stuffs for Pantheon flags and God icon spawn pads, but these are not fully set up and have several known bugs. So okay, that changes nothing. Fixed bugs
God
that
would
can't
glad run
leash
over
volume indicators. Rock rings no longer disappear on lower graphic settings.
Okay.
That does
So
nothing.
skip
also.
ahead. What?
What?
Buff camps and minions will no longer target each other.
Where you
Oh
guys are even at?
no!
Yeah, where
I
you
Okay,
linked
guys
so
it
at?
like
we're under
5
we're under
times to your
miscellaneous.
Hello,
Who's this?
the pizza man. Here with pizza.
OP.
Pizza.
Okay. So that means you can't like take the enemy wave and have
Oh,
it
never
go
mind.
Gold Fury for you.
Okay, no,
That's
okay,
kind of
that's set up.
disappointing.
Yeah, that is disappointing. That was OP before. So a bunch of UI changes, nothing that really changes anything whatsoever, except buff them no longer targeting each other as far as competitive play. Basically, still changes nothing.
But
Mace, it
But
changes pretty
it's
much nothing.
hilarious. Hilarious.
so I that's my least favorite change, even worse than the beats.
Can we get to the real changes?
You're the
Okay.
one who was reading Pantheon flags.
Yeah,
Titans,
okay.
Titans will no
General
longer take
gameplay:
damage
Titans will
from-
no longer take damage from any source outside of its leashing range while being leashed or standing at its spawn point.
Oh.
More or less
You
quality
can't
of
sit
life
there
and
and
eat it.
anti-cheese change. This should have been done a
You
long
can't.
time ago, but doesn't really change anything. Good on high res for
It's
adjusting
gonna
things
change
that.
stuff only in Joust.
No, yeah, Joust.
Yeah,
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 Joust.
it'll fix stuff in Joust.
33. That's
But
about
it was just too cheesy before.
about
This is
Arena?
honestly a very good change. Very
Yeah,
unimpactful,
nice.
but anyway. So let's see what the final lane mechanics are. They tweeted or hinted at stuff before, but tagging or dealing damage to a lane minion or jungle
Oh, thank
monster will
God.
once again reward experience and gold, regardless of whether the player has moved out of range of it.
Oh,
Rated from the
I
PTS
what I
one.
think-
That was a
Okay.
really scary change, and I'm actually
You know
really
what
happy
that
they
they
did
actually
that.
should have. What they could have done though, as a compromise. I mean, I don't dislike this, but like they could have made it reduce the window, because like you can
8
tag
seconds
something
is a
and
bit
get gold
long.
from it, like 10.
I think
yeah, like
six,
eight,
six
it
or
8
so is
seconds?
fair.
Yeah, even like 5 would be okay, but like it can't be 0.
That would have been
because
and
zero's what
I
they
agree.
had
That
it
would have
at.
been an absolutely fair compromise. But I think the goal in their initial change was to promote like brawling mid lane, and
Yeah.
this and
You
the,
kind of-
even though your change is a compromise, it doesn't accomplish that, so it'd
Yeah.
be pretty moot.
You already kind of fight.
But I'm
mid.
very much in favor of this once
Yeah.
potentially
Yeah.
implement
They
don't-
change.
They
It
don't
would have
need
been very
good
very
stuff to
clunky.
Make fights.
Because it would have like promoted like really
Super
passive play.
pacifism. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, towers once again remove all gold reward for minions they damage. Again, this is a change reverted from the initial PTS, and this basically means it once again promotes pushing. So later in the patch we'll see Hunter's wave clear being nerfed, so in general, this change will once again promote pushing. And honestly, the meta's either going to change away from Hunters, or we're going to see some like only push supports in lane, because that's really huge, that you can be able to push the wave. Something. Oh, I
Neat.
actually didn't see this before. No, there's one other change. Assist reward range is still reduced from 80 to 60. I
Mostly
think
relevant
that's
since you
a.
can tag still.
I agree. It's definitely
well-
relevant since you can tag. As far as
It's right-
rotations,
the only-
but this is actually what I thought they reverted. I was wrong. This might promote actual brawling in lane. That's really scary because it might lead to purely boxing duo lanes, and the meta might change around it completely.
I think it's assist on kills, right?
No, that's assist on minions.
Yeah.
100%.
Actually, yeah, I didn't think that's annoying for supports.
That's very annoying for support specifically.
It doesn't. I was thinking
the
for
only
mids and
the
where it doesn't
only
matter.
way this is changed is in duo lane, I think. Maybe you
I mean, you
can't
can
play some of
tag
the
the wave in
cheesier
GP.
solos, but
Yeah, yeah. It
Uh,
might hurt Baka like a bit early, but then I don't know, not really.
yeah, this is the change that I was referencing before. This might make the game very passive, like very, very, very passive, and people might just sit there because you can't afford to tank minions, and you don't want to push because then you're really disadvantaged because then you can actually maybe zone people for real. Um, what we might see is things like assassin supports. That's like really speculative, but that's the significance of that change, and that's something that should be watched like incredibly closely. It's not inherently bad, but what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, killings are gonna be like way better. Like push-ins are gonna still have its reward, but like
What's the distance between a melee minion and the archers, like by default?
I
Is that
don't know,
like
like 40.
I don't think it matters that much. Then.
Maybe it's like 60. I actually don't know the exact range.
It's probably, I think it's like 50 because I think 60 is the distance between the ends of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it matters.
I
That
mean,
much,
sometimes
actually.
you can't sit even
Yeah,
close to your archers, so
if you
lanes
sit
might
slightly
be able to
behind
zone
your
people.
archers,
This also
if you
makes
hit slight-
people like that can brawl in lane, like maybe Uller if mana's not
I
an issue.
agree
Which
that it pushes in that direction, but I don't think it'll actually.
if you
change
stand
much.
slightly behind your archers, you won't get XP.
there are two things that'll come out of this, and the reason I'm spending so much time on this is because it's really significant, even though it doesn't seem like it. One thing is kill lanes, and that's it, or lanes that can survive an aggression, or it'll be more or less the same. But I would expect kill lanes to be much more likely. Things like Hercules, maybe Uller jumps into axes, maybe like Naja support will be a thing. Kronos might be more viable since you can get more guaranteed threes off, especially with the change that we're going to see to him a bit later. But anyway, I guess we'll move on now. That just has the ability to change the dynamic of the game completely. Like, this single change could change the entire meta of duo lane, and who knows, maybe it'll be almost nothing, but I think we'll see more kill lanes. Either that or just a lot more passive
We
do
should
nothing
see
zones.
more. It's a matter of how
Yeah.
much.
Agreed. Okay, let's move on then. So these are actually now completely new items, and are
It
really
says
hard to
no.
evaluate because, well, they're completely new. So
No,
first
we
one
can
is
concretely evaluate all of them.
Mace is
Okay,
right.
so the first one is a Crossbound Hammer Incarnate.
Okay, it's Mannequin
a cheaper
Scepter, starter
version,
item.
but
20 phys power. Enemies hit by your basic attacks are burned, taking 10 physical damage every 1 second for 2 seconds, and are slowed for 8% of the duration. This effect stacks up to 3 times.
But
Holy,
only the damage
Oh
holy
cycle.
my
cancer! I
goodness.
haven't seen this item
Fender
before.
support.
Speaking
I mean, if you get
speaking of kill lanes, speaking
if
of
you
kill
get that,
lanes.
so you get that instead of Death Still, like even on a physical,
Even
like,
on
even on an ADC.
So what's going to happen is assassins are going to be supports, and you will kill everybody constantly because of the slow and the insane amount of damage. Is
Like,
that
the
just like
problem-
end all be all
Yeah,
duo
well,
lane now?
The difference between this and like Crossbound is like you don't really sacrifice stats for this.
I think this item will go on every physical character in the game no matter what. At this
I mean, Death Still
point.
might be better in some cases. Maybe
I
I'm
disagree
underestimating
completely.
the sustain, but yeah, I'm
maybe
leaning
on
towards this being
ADC.
better.
But other than that,
I mean, you can
like,
get both.
Even then,
I mean,
What
solo
about
lane is
Osiris?
solo-
Sure.
solo-
I actually might just get they're both crazy
No.
efficient.
Yeah.
uh,
It's kind of awkward to get both though, because you really want to get to your core
In
items.
dual lane at least, if you're like on a physical support or well now assassin or really anything,
Well, you
this is just an insane amount of damage. It's
For-
20 fizz
for
power
a-
plus 20 damage per auto.
for ADC though, you can't start Devo with that.
Uh,
Or I guess you could,
Why can't
right?
you?
But you wouldn't get a pot. How much? How much? Because Death
no,
Still is.
it's
Oh no, that's the
it's
same as
still
Death Still.
800. It's not
I'm dumb.
900. So you're just
Yeah,
replacing
no, I
Death
was-
Still.
No, I was thinking Death Still was 750. Remember, like when Freya could get both.
that was like
Also, not to mention,
that's really old.
If
No, I
lane
know, I
push
know,
is still
I-
important, which it may or may
Yeah.
not be, it's really hard to tell. This might, just help lane
Yeah.
push immensely. It's the best lane push item ever.
Yeah, bruisers
It's
will have like more room with that item.
it's almost effectively fizz power. Realistically, maybe like effective 30 fizz power if you're auto attacking the same target continuously.
Mhm.
Death Still is already crazy efficient. 15 power at
Yeah,
800.
Death Still
That's
is
like
one of the most
almost
efficient
30
items,
effective power
And just
for
even
800 plus a
considering,
slow.
yeah,
That's okay. That's hate that item.
I
That's
think this
like
item
actually OP.
in this form is insanely overpowered and deserves an immediate nerf.
That it is by far the most engaging item we've looked at so far.
Yeah,
It's the first
which is the
one.
first.
exactly.
It's the first one.
That's why that's the joke.
Also, I very much
I know.
dislike just the design concept of the slow on an item like that. I disagree with Frostbound by design, at least for its cost. And this is the cheapest item that does the same thing. Also in Smite, it doesn't seem like it, but any amount of a slow is significant. Because as long as you're going faster than them, you can just keep them slowed forever. So, I very much disagree with this item being implemented. It is insanely overpowered and will be on every physical character in the game no matter what, no choice. Maybe with or
Uh,
without Death Stole.
There might be
Uh,
some soloers that don't need it.
I don't think. I think Osiris should still get Death
Okay,
Slow because the
so-
healing.
solo's
The
questionable.
healing is just.
But it will
Yeah,
be
I
on
don't know.
every ADC and every physical support.
But it like
It'll be on every
that
ADC.
item as Osiris, you like kill
Yeah,
someone.
but the healing with Death Soul and like
That's fair.
Osiris's
Yeah, but
Well,
auto
let's
attack is
move
kind
on
of
then, let's move
ridiculous.
on.
I don't know.
you're
So the
but
next
Best,
item is
your
Lotus
one
Crown.
slow plus 20.
Yeah.
What it like 24%? It's like 24% slow plus your one. It's like crazy. Because they will stack up. Cause
No, the slow is not stacking. Only the
Okay,
damage
let's move on. We talked about
Oh.
that one a lot. So this is another new item, Lotus Crown. It gives 40 magical power, 30 physical protection, 20 MP5, which is weird because they're taking MP5 off a lot of things. But the passive is any allied gods affected by your heals gain 20 physical protection for 3 seconds, and it cannot be cast on the same target again for 10 seconds. Weird phrasing, but
First item in Assault. Go ham.
It's worth noting that the first buff affects yourself, so if you're like playing
So,
Hell,
so it does affect the heal.
if you're playing
Okay.
Hell, that's like 50 fist prot
now
temporarily.
this can only be gotten on magical characters, which makes complete sense. This could even be an item you see on Sylvanas, because it gives your allies 20 physical protection on top of the protections they get from their heal.
Yeah, it's really good on supports. Unlike mage healers, though, like I think it'll be really good in Sylvanas probably. Unlike mage healer,
Well, actually, something I just noticed, the duration of it is only 3 seconds.
yeah.
So that's a huge downside, and that might be enough to make it not even viable. This is
It
an
also has
item...
to compare with breastplate.
Fair enough.
Is
So,
breast-
Mace, do you think this could be gotten on any, like, mages ever?
It's probably your best biz prot option for healers after you have breastplate, but I think breastplate is probably still priority because like
So,
breastplate
what mages have
offers more
a heal
biz
that's
prot,
relevant, though? What characters would you get this on?
Hell Ra. Well, no, I was talking about
Okay,
stuff.
okay, I wasn't sure. Okay.
Okay, so like breastplate of valor has more fist prot than this does with its active buff. Like I'm talking like just for
Let's assume
yourself,
it had 20...
neglecting
yeah.
the aura for now.
Mhm.
25% CDR is maybe comparable to the magic power. Because that's a lot of magic power, 40, but
It is.
CDR is probably better in most cases for healers.
And the mana's comparable to
unless
the
you're getting it
MP5.
early game. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could kind of even get this like first item if you're like solo lane Ra or Hell. Which
Right,
is
that's
kind
not
of
really in the meta right now.
yeah. The aura's kind of awkward for anyone. Like I feel like most of the time it'll only help yourself. I think it's outclassed by breastplate, but
Fair
like
enough.
it's a well, the thing right now is like after you get breastplate, there's not really any good Fizzy items, and this will be a good second option.
Additionally, if you get this early, you don't give up the magic power. You cannot afford
Yeah,
to get
yeah, that's what I was
breastplate as early as you can afford to get this. So
You can
there's
never
a big
go
difference in
first
that.
item breastplate. You could go first item this.
I think the aura is a bit weak for its cost, so it might not see as much use, but overall it's an item that could be in an okay spot.
Wait, let me see something again.
Yes, what
though.
are your thoughts on this, being a previous mid player? Thank you, Best.
Well,
Well,
I was gonna say, well, it gives 50 magical or physical protection for you if you get the passive if you heal. But the thing with like breastplate is, compared
It
to
says
this,
75.
yeah, you're giving up some of your own physical protection to like give it to your teammates.
NCR.
Well, you're giving protection to your like teammates. I don't know.
I think
it's
it's-
like it can be situational. I don't know.
I think it would also be
I don't
a
think
lot
this will ever
better
be
if
core.
like if it didn't have an ICD, it would be a lot better. Because like right now, like I don't know, if you could get the like protection buff the entire time you're sitting in your heal, and then 3 seconds after, it'd be a lot
And that
stronger
wouldn't
than
even
only
be
getting it
unfair.
for 3 seconds.
I don't think that would be overpowered.
Yeah, and I mean it'll have
Yeah.
it'll be a very niche item, but not unviable right in its current form.
Fair enough. Okay, let's
Does
move
it-
on then.
Do the 3 seconds start from right from
As
the
soon
first
as
second
you
they
get
get
hit by the first
healed.
heal.
Okay, the
Yeah.
first heal. Okay, that's a little awkward. I don't know.
Especially if you consider that the other enemy can get like Divine Ruin, you don't want to heal them as soon as they take damage, which is when they want the prod anyway. So that's another downside. Anyway, let's move on. Temporal Purification now beads as they exist now are no more. Instead, it's split into two tiers, temporal and normal, I guess it's called, or greater, or whatever they decided to name it. So this one removes crowd control and gives you an immunity for 1 second to all future crowd control, and it reduces all your cooldowns by 5 seconds. So this is the same as the current beads, except in the stream it actually showed that it costs like 1,000 or 1,100. Here it says 900. I'm not sure about that, but you give up the 2 seconds of CC immunity afterwards. And additionally, they don't have it here either, but the greater purification no longer reduces cooldown. So you're choosing between 2 seconds of CC immunity after the first second, or the CDR. So what are your thoughts, Mace? I know you had something to say about this before.
Okay. So beads are like by far the most OP thing in the game. You should get them like every game no matter what before. But now, also, I think the cost is wrong. In the stream they showed it at 1,000
Right.
gold for the 5-second CDR. The 5-second CDR is still better, I think, most of the time. You just might wait a bit longer to get them. Like, I don't know, sometimes I get beads to be like, before I get my second item, I'll probably just wait a little longer. It just sucks because beads are fun. It's fun using your
Yeah.
abilities and then using them again in 0 seconds.
It's gonna
I
be.
agree.
It's
Oh,
gonna
actually, there's one more thing though. Sorry, Rush, but I just remembered. Like, since you're getting CDR boots every game now, beads value actually, 5-second CDR value synergizes a lot better with
Fair
everything
enough.
else now.
All right, Best, do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, would you still get it on Raw?
The 5 second, maybe not.
The
'Cause,
2
like,
second, the 2 second
yeah, you might
CC is
not-
probably better on Raw. I don't know.
It's gonna
Like-
be. It's gonna be used on like. It's still gonna be
You-
used
you're
on
gonna
guns like
get-
ISIS.
You're gonna get
Eagle,
the
stuff like that.
CDR, the 5-second CDR, on gods that have somewhat lower cooldowns.
Yeah, that was the point that I was.
But
gonna bring up.
if mids have like higher cooldowns, then you'd still get the 2-second one.
I think it's buffed to 3. Am I right? I heard that.
Yeah,
earlier.
it's 3
That's
seconds CC. Yeah.
Because yeah,
what's-
you get on Agni, you never get the 5-second CDR. You always get the 3-second immunity.
Wait,
Alright.
you know it's already 3
Mm.
seconds immunity.
I think
Beats do is 3-second CC immunity right now.
Yeah, I would still get the 3-second immunity on Agni.
Probably.
that's fair, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's situational. I think the fact that it gives players a choice is good, but the fact that it takes out a super aggressive or fun playstyle is bad. So it's kind of in the middle for me.
They should
Well,
keep it at
actually,
900 gold where it's OP.
Yeah, make beads OP again.
Yeah, it was fun though. Okay, moving on to the next item, Shield of the Underworld. Upon activation, you reflect 40% of all damage you take after mitigation for the next 5 seconds back to its owner as true damage. While this is active, enemies cannot lifesteal from you. Cooldown 60 seconds, cost 600. This is just a one-tier thing. It's just that's it. You buy it outright, and that's it. You can't upgrade it. You can't get a lower version of it. It has a known issue in the PTS, but that's not really relevant for us talking about it now. So thoughts, Rushed? What do you think about this item?
It's gonna probably be really good on, I don't know, bruisers probably. And
yeah. That was a-
Hercules,
that's a-
Hercules is gonna love that item. Like, oh my god.
At first I thought it was like super OP, but like,
But it's not. It's
well, if you
Yeah,
you
it's-
can
I don't
compare
think
it
it's
to the
OP.
reflect shell, and I don't know, it's gonna be tough to see which cases it's better than the reflect shell because 15% reflection plus team-wide crouch. Like the team-wide crouch has always been the insane part of shell, so I don't know. It's probably relatively balanced.
They can't
like-
lifesteal from you. So like, if people are building lifesteal, you'd get that.
And when you also have Fight of the Nemean on like her.
Because
I
it's
think-
true it's true damage. Like, it's such a good item for like bruisers. I feel.
You can never afford to get this item on, like, let's say a support, or maybe a super niche support, but you probably can't. You can't on an ADC, you can't on a mage, you can't on, like, an assassin. I don't think any of those really are
Probably-
warranted. This item is specifically a
probably-
bruiser item.
Well, I don't even know if you get on bruises. Like, I don't know, something like.
Right, I'm not saying that you do, but if
Creeping
you are
Cursor,
going to
like,
get this
heavenly
item,
agility, well,
it's going to
Yeah,
be on a
yeah.
bruiser.
but creeping
It's
cursor
also-
agility would be better because, like, again, it's only like for you, and unless you're gonna get take damage from like every ability or auto attack in a team fight, I don't know.
And
Well,
look,
you
It's not that great.
oh, go ahead, Mace.
You could purposefully run into like seconds and one shot the
Yeah,
late
like,
game.
yeah. I mean, but
That's really niche, though. Against Poseidon, maybe it has
Also-
more value. But one thing I want to say
But,
about
like-
this in general is, let's say there are like 4 people on you as a bruiser, because like your job is to be in their face. If the damage is reflected against all those people, but it's split, it has so much less value, especially if the other team has a healer. So I wouldn't really put as much value on the reflect as people think, because it's also going to be mitigated after that. So not only are you reflecting the after mitigation damage on you, but their prots are going to be affected by it afterwards. Oh no, actually, I'm wrong. It's true damage after
Well,
that, so it's going to be just 40% of
this
whatever
is
they deal. So I'm wrong in that aspect, but the people that are damaging you won't even necessarily die. So I think it's a niche case, maybe against only if an ADC can kill you, as like Hercules or Kraken or
yeah.
I don't know, Vimana, some other bruiser, but it's a pretty niche item that's outclassed by some other actives, but still
Like,
we'll see use.
this is what I was thinking is gonna happen. Like, you're gonna go in, pop this, and then everyone's just gonna like ignore you or back
Mhm.
off.
I agree
Whereas
completely.
like creeping
Except-
If
curse,
they ignore you, just Shrek them with your abilities.
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I don't know. You probably get more overall value from like a heavenly or creeping.
I tend to side
Also-
with best. This item will have insane more value in casual than competitive for that reason, though. This item,
Yeah.
as a surprise factor and as not knowing how to play around it, is insane. This will see so much use in so many casual games, and it'll be held as like a super OP item, but in competitive, you might see one of them occasionally. That's my prediction.
Also, it will be super OP in 1v1 joust, like auto win.
That's what I was gonna
Yeah.
say.
Oh yeah, that
You
too.
either get like you either just outbox them or get 5 seconds of non-silence invincibility because they won't be
Fair
able to
enough.
attack you.
Okay, I think we've talked about this enough. Let's move on then. Okay, Achilles Spear. Upon activation, gain 25% attack speed, 35% physical lifesteal for 5 seconds. You take 30% additional damage from all sources while this is active. Costs 600, no other tiers. It's just that item, and it counts as inactive. Let's say best. Your thoughts?
Terrible item. Never get it.
All right. Rush?
Worst active
Mace?
in the game, including
Except for
Teleport
Shielded
Gods.
Teleport. Or I mean teleport to
I
God.
was including that. I was
Oh, wow.
including
Okay,
that.
okay, Rush.
The only reason why you would get that is technically if the whole enemy team completely ignores you, or like you're 15k.
Yeah, like
I
if
think
they
you guys
just
are being
don't do
exceptionally
anything.
harsh about it, but I tend to agree. This item is incredibly weak, and I do not see a use for this in any case whatsoever. I don't know, maybe like soloing
1v1
an
joust.
objective, but that's not even good. I can't see a use for this item. Maybe someone will
1v1
create.
joust.
Okay, Mason, that's not even good there because you take
Oh,
the damage.
oh. No, you
What?
could- what if you get it on Anubis and you build a comp around killing Fire Giant at 10 minutes from the enemy
Yeah,
team
I
doesn't
think
expect it?
with that comment, Mace,
Mace.
that should end that item.
But then
And
someone
end
who's
the
gonna-
discussion. If
someone who's
if
gonna
we're
shield
on
them,
the
like,
if we're
Shrek
on the
use.
topic of discussing how good it is on Anubis and nobody else, I think that really should say something about this
Mace.
item.
I mean,
You-
it's
you know,
physical
it's
life.
It's a 10-minute
Physical.
fire giant shadow Q.
Okay.
No, I'm
No.
saying you get it on all your physical characters. You have a Girdle of Might, and Anubis gets Girdle of Inner Rage, and you just kill Fire Giant in like 1 second flat.
Okay, moving on. The next item, the next item
That's kind of true.
is
though.
Heartward Amulet. 60 magical protection, 300 health, passive, or a 20 physical protection, and an irrelevant MP5. Cost 2100, and it branches off of Silver Talisman.
A good magical protection item.
That's the best early game Magic Route item, mayy. It's like
For
half
sup-
of Sav.
Ports, it's actually really good. I didn't see
Well,
this
I
item on
meant-
Yeah,
stream.
you'd
Yeah.
get that if like if there's like a Vulcan in your
If you have like
lane.
an ADC, a magical quote
no, I
ADC,
You-
or if there's like Ao Kuang in the jungle that you can't avoid, or something like this could be the
Also-
first item you get on supports. It's really tough
Yeah,
to say
this-
because I need to
yeah.
number crunch it,
Right.
but
in,
this is not
in
bad.
solo, you'd still get Gaia rushed.
like I said,
You'd
it's in
still
the
get
dual
Gaia.
lane.
You still, yeah, well, yeah.
Is
That's
the aura
basically
supposed
what
to
I
be
said.
fist?
You'd still get Guy in the solo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
the aura
it
supposed
has
to
to
be
be,
fist?
right?
That seems weird. But, well, I mean, it's weird that it's on a
Honestly,
Magic Route
honestly,
item.
it's better that it's physical for a support
Yeah, it's
because
like
then
a
you're
dual
protected
lane
against
item.
like the
Yeah.
necessary supports. So yeah, it's
Okay.
it's exactly a support item.
Oh yeah, but
By
yeah, this
design,
gives
I
you,
like this item.
This gives supports a reason to build Magic D. Right now they build
Yes.
Fizz D for all the OP passives, and Magic D just when they need Magic defense.
Yeah, this fills a very very much needed void in the build.
It's really cheap too. Like holy fuck.
Yeah, it's actually
Yeah.
incredibly cheap.
Like it's for the amount of stuff you get 20 Fizz prots, 60 Magic prots,
This-
200 health for 2.1k. What the fuck?
If mages are relevant, this is the new sovereignty. If they're not, we'll see. But you know, the aura is really insane. Just the 20 fizz
This-
pot, that's really
This
insane.
came out. This item came out a lot better than Sovereignty did.
Oh yeah, big time. Let's look at the next item then. It is called Soulstone. It is a starting item. It gives 30 magic power, 90 health, and your passive is your next damaging ability against an enemy god applies a damage over time effect that deals magic damage equal to 2% of the target's current health every 2 seconds, or sorry, every second for 2 seconds. ICD is 10 seconds. So it's basically kind of like a super mini Soul Reaver that's more or less 4% magic damage with a medium ICD. Much better than Dementor's Doll release, but what are your thoughts, anybody?
I feel like you'd get Vampiric Shroud.
Yeah.
You need
Over
Vamp
that.
Shroud.
Yeah, you'll get Vamp Shroud over that.
Maybe if you're trying to cheese something.
Well, now let's say
You
you're
could get
trading
this
poke
also.
equally. Let's say you are using an ability on them every wave. So that's more or less 4% of their health every wave. Well, I'm talking about like early game.
I mean,
I know that's not
It's
always going to be the
current health,
case.
though.
I know that's not going to be the case, but just bear with me for a sec. Let's say
Yeah, well,
you
if
do
you-
4%
if
of
you
your health every
consistently-
wave, and you would otherwise heal 60. So in order for 4% of their health to be like the same as in trading poke,
I mean, that would make like Ron like Agni OP. You can just like put your fumes. You can just like put your fumes down and they take 4% of their health, and it's like.
Yeah, but you also the mana from Vamp Shroud is even more relevant than the health. The
Uh,
health from
yeah.
Vamp Shroud counteracts this
so in order
entirely.
for
and you need
60%
mana.
to be 4% of your health, you have to have 1500 health. So this isn't really good until mid game. So I think you're going to start Vamp Shroud regardless, probably, unless you're going for maybe some cheese kill, which is very cool that you can have the option. I don't know.
So it's a mid-game starter item.
What else do you
Yeah.
guys?
Well, you just the biggest thing is you need Vamp Shroud on most
Okay.
mages. Like, maybe on like Anubis you could not get Vamp Shroud. Again, we're talking about how good it is on Anubis. So like, I don't know.
Okay, okay.
Anubis is like
Rush,
the,
you're really
the-
really good at smite math. What do you think about this item?
Like I said, I just don't feel like it's gonna be used over Vamp Shroud.
Okay,
Like,
fair enough.
It's like it's good in like certain cases, but
It does have really high magic power for the cost.
yeah.
Maybe if there's some new mage that's released that can self-sustain completely, this item is not bad. Like you said, Anubis, if he was actually viable, could go without Vamp Shroud. So maybe in the
Yeah, 'cause he
future this
doesn't
item
need
will
the
see
healthy
use,
mana.
but so I guess the consensus is right now that this item is
Would
relatively
you
underpowered.
get it on Isis, mate?
On Isis,
Because like she has her passive and like I don't know,
the
man.
passive is at 1 stack at level 1. That's 2 MP5
Not
and
how we
HP5.
play, not how we play.
Okay, if you suicide your entire team into the mid tower before the game starts, you get 5 stacks on Isis passive, or if they're dumb enough to like let you do it twice and you get 10 stacks on Isis passive.
I think
maybe
we've
this
derailed
Vamp
just a
Shroud.
bit, so I'm gonna put us back on track with the next item.
I mean,
But doesn't Isis
Whoa,
passive
somebody's
only go
mic
to
is
9
very bad,
stacks?
guys.
Mace,
it's
Shut up.
you play the character, you don't
Blue
even know
Stone
that.
Pendant is a new starter item that gives 15 physical power, 90 health, and a passive that restores 4% of your missing mana every 5 seconds.
Never. Don't buy this item.
yeah. I tend to agree with him. Like the mana restore is way too low. Like Death Toll would probably
Seems like
give you like more
Death's
mana.
Toll, but you'd rather have the health than mana regardless, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
Soul
four-
Lane
it's
still has blue buff,
4%.
keep in mind.
But
It-
like
it-
if you auto attack, like with Death Toll, you'd probably get like more than 4%
I
of your
don't
missing
think
Yeah.
that's necessarily true. It'd be close, but
It's close, but
yeah, just
there
the
it
fact
is,
that it's
it's
close,
close.
basically makes me want to discount the item.
The
Mace.
the other bad thing is like I don't know, the mana starts to be like probably better than Death's Toll once you're like under half mana. But a lot of the time you don't back when you're you back when you're at like 100 or like kind of low in mana.
Yeah.
So that way you have enough for all your moves.
Agreed.
Like you don't want to be low enough on mana for this to be optimal.
All right, I don't think this item's gonna be good.
and also coming back for Soulstone, if you have like a healer, if you're a healer, Soulstone's gonna be like better than if you're not a healer. But
Well,
other than
Soulstone. Oh, Soulstone.
that- Yeah.
Also, the other starting item, the Scepter, is just OP compared to this or anything in the game.
Which one's the scepter?
The first thing we talked about, the
The
Frost Bound.
physical one.
Oh yeah, that one's
Frostbound.
insanely
I mean,
OP.
it's 8. It's
That's
8%,
insanely
though.
OP.
It's only
pretty strong,
8%, which
It's
isn't
up
that
to
much,
24, right?
No, no, the slow's not stacking. Only
Yeah,
The
no,
slow
it
does-
stacks.
the
It stacks
slow
3
doesn't-
times.
The
Yeah,
slow
doesn't
doesn't
stack.
stack.
Yes, they're the slow stacks.
Yeah.
No,
so
the
No,
it's-
damage-
they said
the
it on
damage
stream, the
stacks.
slow is not stacking.
The
Oh.
damage, the damage
Let me see.
stacks, not the slow.
They're so bad at writing shit. Like,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
don't,
Yeah,
they
the
don't say
tooltip-
it's stack or it doesn't stack.
the tooltip is insanely wrongly worded, but
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, it's only
It doesn't
8%.
even need the slow to be OP.
Which one were we
so.
on? Bluestone Pendant. Okay, I'm gonna move on to the Crusher because we all just agree that the item is underpowered. The Crusher, 40 physical power, 20 physical penetration, passive each time a basic attack against towers and phoenixes grants a stack, and increases your attack speed by 4%.
People?
Unicorn build.
Let's see.
I
Movement.
suck.
It gives 4% attack speed, 2% move speed, max 5 stacks. That's
I mean,
really
I-
interesting.
It's good if you can like AFK and not go to a fight
Well,
ever, but
I don't think you don't against towers isn't the only case you're building this because like consider that like the brawlers where I don't think it was
Yeah,
optimal. It wasn't included in the original unicorn build. I
because
think
even though the
there's
passive
something
was
might have been
completely irrelevant.
yeah like other stuff what might have been a better option, but like the fact that brawlers was close, like if they don't have a healer, you could just get this and like you just don't really care about the passive.
If you get this
So like,
item, the passive will be 99.99% irrelevant. The base
but it
stats
could
might
be
be
more
good enough to be
relevant than
included.
anti-healing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But like, if you get this item, it'll be for the stats, not the passive. So that's something that I have to math out. It seems a bit costly for that. It's really tough to tell. Like something like you said, brawlers or even Jotuns might be better, but we'll see.
Well, no, it's equivalent to brawlers
Oh, it's same stats and
and the
cost.
same cost. It's
Oh,
the
okay.
exact
So
same.
so
It's
you're
just a
just
different
choosing a passive. Oh yeah, that's right. It is the same as brawlers. So
yeah.
you'll just
So
choose
if
the
there's no
passive.
healing whatsoever, then
Yeah,
this is
this could
better
replace
if you
brawlers
want
in the
the
build.
stats.
Yeah, that's fair. The item's probably a bit underpowered. It might see use. It's really
It
good for
might be
tower
OP in
pushing.
Joust.
It's also
Yeah, it could see use in Joust a lot too.
assassins maybe. Yeah, it's
It might be some
one of the
on
more
like
balanced
cheese on
items.
Baka or something if you want to split push, but this item is not core in an ADC build for the passive at all. The passive is more or less
Oh no
useless.
no no. Yep.
I think that item's pretty straightforward, so I'm gonna move on. Item changes, physical boots. They explain this. They showed this really easily on stream. So, more or less, that they don't split until the very last tier of it now, and they're more or less the same for magic. So, boots 1 is the same. Boots 2 is the same. I'm pretty sure, but there's no more boots that doesn't give fizz power. Now, the rank 3 things are different. They cost a lot less, down from like 2100-ish for physical to like 1500 or less. So the first one, instead of giving 15 pen or 12 or pen or whatever it gives now, it's 30 physical power. Do you think that's better or worse than the pen?
Uh,
I think it's
the
worse than the pen.
the attack speed.
The 30 fizz power.
Oh. Wait, what two options are you comparing? 30 fizz power against.
The old pen from the old boots.
Oh.
Like, how
Pen
do
was
you
better.
think this changes? The old pen is better. I tend to side with that
Yeah.
too, especially early game. Now, granted, the 30 fizz power for the cost is probably more cost effective by a lot.
I mean, the other one's at some power.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. It also had power.
Right,
Never
they
mind.
had
What am I
30
thinking?
power.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had 30 yeah, it's the attack.
Yeah, it's the
It's
same.
the increase of
it's
attack
only
speed. I was right.
yeah. Okay.
It's 3% more attack speed. So you gain 3% attack speed. You lose 15 pen, and it costs a lot less,
Right.
basically. Ninja Tabby by comparison have like just cost a lot less, and it has the same stats. Warrior Tabby, if we're talking like new Warrior Tabby v new Ninja Tabby,
You'll still
I mean, I
get
guess you
the
didn't
warrior
go
tabby,
over it.
right? Well, we're gonna skip
Like on
reinforced
ADCs.
because it's bad
It
sequencing, but
it
here's
depends
Ninja
on your
Tabby.
god. It depends on
On
your
most-
god more.
on any ability-based
ADCs.
assassin,
For
CDR is
ADCs,
better.
I think you'll get attack speed.
for bruisers you'd get ninja.
And even for like ADC, yeah, but like some certain ADCs, like I feel ability-based ADCs like
Yeah,
Cupid.
One thing I do want to
Yep.
say though is how good the design is compared to how they've done boots in the past. They're actually giving you a
'cause there
choice now
was-
instead of making one choice definitively wrong. So
yeah,
kudos
like,
to Hi-Rez
Pen
for
Boots was,
actually
like, always-
designing it like way better this time. This is much
I
much
think
better.
they could have. They might have been able to put a little more attack speed on something on it. I don't know, because the Ninja Tabby seems stronger in general. I mean, the Warrior Tabby you'll still see a lot of play just because like ADCs just don't care about CDR compared to attack speed.
Fair enough.
But in terms of general Shenka as an item,
But it's not pen compared to irrelevant CDR anymore. It's an actual
Yeah.
choice.
Yep.
Which I like.
Also,
let's look at reinforced greaves real quick because before this item used to be really bad, and maybe it'll see a resurgence. Now it gives move speed, fizz power, 100 health, and 30% CCR, but the cost is insanely low. This item is really, really, really good on like supports now compared to before. 'Cause
actually,
it's, you know.
I think supports will just go Witchstone still. But
Mhm.
like, what
I
about?
agree.
I think that this is actually a real option to like Ninja Tabby for even like some bruisers, like solo
Yeah,
laners.
it still gives physical power. So again, there's more choices. I like it. This is good on solo laners. It might even be good on ADCs against like maybe CC heavy teams or something. I don't know. Or like brawling 1v1. I likely not, but I like having the option open. Now there's one more item in this tree that's really strange. It's called Teleria. It's like very close to old Celerity boots. It gives only 10 physical power compared to either 15 or 30, but it gives 28% move speed and 25 HP 5 out of combat.
I think the support are gonna use that over. I don't know, because like supports are using rotations, right?
I think
are
this-
rotating a lot.
Yeah,
and
this
it's really good for rotations.
this item is probably better than Reinforced Greaves, unless there's like a super CC heavy team. Witchblade might be a thing though. The HP 5 for support is actually gigantic. The cost is very efficient and lets you build into more efficient items. This is likely what's going to be used as support. If it's not going to be this, it's going to be Witchblade.
So is Midas Boots out of the game now?
Yeah,
I
but there's
didn't-
no more Midas boots at all.
Alright.
Thank
Wait.
God.
How long does it take for you to go to combat? Do you know?
I believe it's
3
5,
seconds?
6 seconds. Is
Oh,
it 3?
5.
Actually, it might be 3. Actually, yeah, I think it's 3. I was thinking about Blink before. I'm really not sure. Well, they classify combat differently in different cases. I'm not entirely sure about that, but that's not that
Yeah,
relevant.
I feel like the passive is still gonna be like really strong. So
Yeah, the rotation and just presence is really huge. Also, just having the amount of power, like that little bit extra on supports, it will help a little bit. The Magi's trees are more or less the same, and I think it almost always applies, except the difference in how effective CDR is on supports or on mages. So you have the option to trade 250 mana for 15% CDR. Mace, is there any choice whatsoever? Oh, Mace is muted.
How long have I
muted.
been muted?
12
You guys were
seconds.
talking over
I don't know,
me.
man.
He's just like, I'm not talking about this item.
You guys were talking over me like crazy, and I was getting pretty mad.
You will always get CDR
Okay,
boots.
so best. Alright, I wanted to say something about the physical, but you kept interrupting me because I was muted.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Mace.
Okay, so what do you think about like
So we should
reinforced
just talk
the
over him because he's still
CDR
muted.
versus movement speed for solo lane? Best.
Wait. What?
CDR
for the
versus
physical
movement
ones.
speed.
Are
for
you
physical.
comparing 3 of them or what?
Yeah, well, out of all of them, I guess, but like I think there's actually an argument for reinforced or tabby or maybe even
I'm just
I
gonna
would
say this real quick before we go into that. Having the choice is really good design by high res. Just not having a definitive best one, I really like that. Anyway,
yeah, like,
go ahead, best.
all of them are like situational.
I would definitely get reinforced if they're like a CC heavy team, or if they have like a Ymir or like I don't know, someone that just has kind of good CC and like somewhat low cooldown.
Do you think Talaria could ever be relevant for solo, like to get to mid
Um,
harvest, or
I don't know. Well, I can kind of compare it to League, where there's a boots that give you more movement speed out of combat, and you almost get it on every jungler, just so you can rotate more.
Which is
if
why
anything-
it'll be really good on
If
supports.
anything, you'll probably only get it on junglers.
I was also gonna say like well I wasn't
You
I
still-
didn't think
you
it
still
would
get
actually
physical
be good
power,
on
but, like-
junglers, but I was saying it would be like super
Well, like-
cheesy on junglers, like you can just
Right.
be everywhere.
Let's say, well, you have 20 more physical power and 12 attack speed, and
You
a
would
lot
go
of the
CDR.
junglers. Oh, okay, well,
That's another good option, but we've talked about that a lot, so let's move on
Okay,
for now, guys.
yes.
no.
The
Okay.
boots, is there a choice, Mace? 250 mana
Okay,
versus
so-
15% CDR?
Oh, you don't
15
think
gold?
mana in CDR ones
And
either?
20
Also-
magical power.
Okay, mana should be. I mean, I guess it's okay. The thing with the more power and the mana ones are like 20 magic power and 250 mana.
Oh,
is actually
my
kind of
bad.
relevant.
I didn't see the extra magic power. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, but like those stats are relevant at like level 7 or whenever you finish your boots.
Yes,
that
completely.
ceases to be relevant when you're like level 15 or like I don't know, like after you get
Toward
like
the
one
end
more
game,
item, it's irrelevant because 15% CDR is always just like a percent modifier to whatever you build. The power and mana, like I don't know, it'll just if you ever buy Magi, it'll kind of be for the mana. Just if like I don't know, you would kind of just get mana pots instead. I feel like you always go focus no matter what.
Or if
Um,
you're like Poseidon
what
and
if-
want to get level 5
Yeah,
kill.
what if it's a really important level 5 to like 10 fight? I think there's
Well, like-
merit in getting Magi sometimes.
Uh,
Generally,
it's funny,
focus
it-
is almost
I
always
would
better
only I would only consider Magi's if you're doing like Isis Thanatos and like you're not planning on the game
Yeah, fair
lasting
enough.
more than 10
though. But
minutes.
that is a case sometimes, and I like
Even
the choice.
then, I'd still go 15% CDR in that case.
Okay.
Well, it's only 20 more magical power,
Fair
and
enough.
I don't know how well is your scaling on the god that comes into play too.
Yeah, I would also agree that the cooldown is mostly better. Pretty straightforward. Let's move on to the next item. Aegis Pendant no longer provides damage reduction after the invulnerability effect fades. That was almost like the most useless part of the passive, so that's not really a huge nerf. He's good against like assassins, kind of, but
I don't know. It was still really good.
it was good,
Teamfight, like
but it
damage was going around.
didn't make or break the item.
Yeah.
And sound change is like completely useless.
And Sile now provides 8% cooldown reduction at base, cooldown reduction per stack reduced from a percent to... So it'll be like
Wait.
more the same total, or like roughly the same total, but more immediately. That's pretty irrelevant. Do you guys think that has any effect on anything?
Wait, it's 60 stacks, right? Yeah.
I guess it's a
No.
slight, but it's a pretty big buff to the item. But I don't think it'll like Mace or Best or Rush. Do you think
It,
it'll affect the
it
game at
won't
all?
make you buy it more, like at all.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you wanted
no,
to
well-
get it, you'll still like get it. So
Yeah, it's a good buff, but like they said, if you're gonna get it, you would get it anyways,
Yeah.
kind of.
Okay.
It actually does
Straightforward
a-
change.
Yeah, it's a decent buff.
Aussie, this is now a tier 2 item, and it's buffed a little bit, reduced cost. Pretty nice. It was picked up before. It might see a little bit more use just because of a slight efficient
Yeah.
cost increase.
I don't
Not
think
really-
it
it
makes
won't
it
change.
OP.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be OP. Even if it's used in every build now, it's not OP. Fair item, fair change. Nothing really matters there. Celestial Legion Helm. The passive for this item has changed. Absorbs the next hit of a critical strike damage you would take. This effect cannot occur more than every 15 seconds. When this occurs, you gain 40 magic power for 3 seconds.
So they
That's
changed
a
it when-
lot different. This
Yeah,
is so. This is infinitely better.
yes,
Infinitely.
but it's still awkward. But like at least it's not like fucking expensive like it
Well,
used to be.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Before,
it still
you, like-
requires...
okay.
Before
well,
you
keep
get,
going, keep
yeah,
going,
go
keep
ahead,
going.
Mace. Yeah, I know what you're gonna say,
Okay,
but it's
so
exactly
before
right. Listen to Mace, guys.
This is how the item was designed. You couldn't get crit after you got crit, but by the time the hunters or like anyone got crit, the first crit would take out like 60 to 70% of your health. So then you die in one more auto attack anyways.
Yeah, the
This
old
passive at least does something. And
this
like
item is
that first
now maybe viable.
yeah, instead of stopping 0 damage, it now stops like 70% of your health and damage.
Yeah, the passive of this is insane.
You probably still wouldn't get it.
I'm not saying
Yeah,
you'll
I
get
agree.
it, but
Well,
it's a relevant
it-
passive instead of literally nothing.
It's a
it
lot
still
better.
it still requires you to walk up and take damage, and like if it's not a crit, then you're still taking damage.
You're also
like, are you just
dropping.
gonna- But yeah, but like,
Yeah.
are you just gonna wait there till you put a crit on you, and then like
No,
do
I
more
agree
damage?
with
It's
you.
No,
like-
Best, that's what you would do.
I don't
Yeah,
think it's necessarily a great item still, but it's now designed
I-
correctly.
Yeah.
The one big issue is you're dropping 1,000 gold in a purely defensive item that only affects the late game, and like that would have to be like after Tahuti, and then it's like I don't know, it comes in a really weird spot. It could be picked up very, very, very niche, but still underpowered.
Yeah, agreed. Charged bow, reduced attack speed from 25% to 20%, reduced cost by 150. Basically, they're putting more value in the passive and less value in, you know,
Stats.
yeah, which is really what they wanted to do. I don't know the exact stats on the item. It still seems a bit weak. It's really hard to fit in the build.
It's only attack speed basically.
Yeah,
So
it seems really weak still. I don't think you'll see use. Maybe
you get
with the change to duo lane, you might see this for push.
it's the tier 2 of like yeah, it's the tier 2 of like
Odysseus.
Ikaval and Odysseus bow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like if you like again like you'll never like stop buying at tier 2. You'll always go for like the tier 3
Yeah, this
items.
change is pretty irrelevant, I think. So I'm gonna move
Yeah,
on.
it's irrelevant.
Charged Morningstar. This item no longer gives MP5. Guys, what was Charged Morningstar?
It was
I-
T2 Transcendence.
Okay, thank you. This item no longer gives MP5. Physical power reduced from 25 to 20. Mana reduced from 200 to 150. But cost reduced by 500 gold. That's a gigantic buff to the tier 2 of the item. Will this
Yeah,
make
you-
Transcendence see more use?
Eh.
You could probably buy like the 2 and get your money worth, but
Well, what is the tier 2? Is it just like 20 physical power and 150 mana then?
Something along those lines, yeah.
Well, you can also, I think the biggest thing is, you can start T2 if you're trying to rush Transcendence,
yeah, that's right.
but it's still awkward. It makes that an option, but I don't know if it's a viable option.
Yeah, okay. If you're gonna see more Transcendences, it's not because of this change, it's because of mana buff changes. So, that's my thought. Pretty straightforward. Cloak? What is Cloak?
That is like Height of Heroes or
Magi's
something.
Blessing.
Oh,
Is that rank 1 or
Magi's?
2 or what?
I
Oh.
think it's rank 1. Yeah, because rank 1's like
It was really
800.
expensive
Yeah,
before.
it's
This
because
changes
they,
almost nothing.
It
though.
cost. Wait, I have the stats. 830. It had 10 of both crowds and 75 health.
Changes almost nothing. Kind of
Yep.
quality of
They
life,
all
but
they
it's
just
not.
removed it because there's no more health on Spirit Drop.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, I guess that's pretty much it. All right, let's keep going. Oops, I kind of lost
That
my
still
place.
is still good. Like,
Hunger
even
provides
with the
30% attack
reduction.
speed. Barely changes it at all. I'm gonna move on. That won't change the viability of it. Doom Orb. Cost reduced from 1900 to 1790. Now a tier 2 item, which doesn't mean anything. Mace.
I think Doom Orb's already, and I think Doom Orb could already be good at 1900. I think that's gonna make people get a lot more, cause like,
Really,
know, I
you,
haven't
you
been
think it would
building it
actually change
much.
the builds, which is unlikely
It's
from
very
all
cost
these items so
efficient
far?
though.
okay, because I was thinking about the math for like the current cost of Doom Orb recently, and like, sure you have to like stack it up, and there's the risk versus reward stuff, but like at 25 stats, it's already like more, or it's already roughly equal in comparison to like Thoth, like in magic power efficiency, and I think what this changes the most is if you go the start where you go Vamp Shroud and Lost Artifact, the 600 gold starter of Doom Orb.
Mhm.
Around your first spec, you always have you need 1300 gold first of all to get to the 1900 to finish a Doom Orb, and you usually have anywhere from like 1100 to 1200 or 1300
So you're
depending on
saying
when
that
you
might
back.
make it consistently being able to purchase Doom Orb.
Yeah, you'll make it so you can like if you wait until after mid harpies, you'll almost always be able to get Doom Orb full
Not
on
to
your
mention,
first
if you
back.
start the Lost Artifact, then you'll build into something relevant immediately.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
That's
big.
a pretty big change. I mean, Doom Orb is really not that bad right now. It's just
Yeah,
outclassed by a few other
it's
things.
I think it's one of the most interesting changes because the power of the chains doesn't really come in the 100 gold, like in total across your
But
build,
when you can buy
but
it.
more in just in terms of when you finish it.
Right. Oh, that's really interesting. Best, you used to play mid. What do you think? Great analysis by the best. Everyone give him a round of applause. Give him a round of
Yeah.
applause, guys.
Well,
Flappa.
I think Best still thinks it's kind of meh. I don't know.
I think it's meh, but like you might see people buy more.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think it'll necessarily be every game or anything, but I think it'll be a sometimes buy instead of always
That's actually a
going
really
Thoth
interesting,
slash Bankrupt.
very interesting change then. Okay, very cool. Draining Blade.
Actually,
Moved from the game.
uh,
Oh, okay, fair
wait.
enough. That was just rank 2 Aussie. Anyway, moving on.
One more
Dynasty.
thing about Doom Orb.
Sure.
Okay, it actually buffs Kronos because like
Oh yeah, it
Kronos
does.
is OP
Yeah,
with Doom Orb.
his
Yeah, that's
scaling is
it.
absolutely insane. Also with a small buff to Kronos that we'll see in a bit. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, Dynasty Plate Helm, tier 2 item. Cost reduced. Might see play
Not
now.
much to
I don't know.
say.
Just a tier 2 item.
Not much to say. Yeah.
Yeah, not much to say there. If you're gonna get rank 3, you're gonna get it anyway. So, Fist of the Gods. When I saw this on stream, I think it's what I think it is. This seems completely terrible, but I'll read it anyway. This item now is in its own tree, so you can't get it after you buy Hog, if that's still a thing. I think it is. Using this item will stun a single target god in the target area for 1 second. Cooldown 90. Cost 700. So let me
You
talk
can
about
miss it.
it the way it was before. So junglers more or less need Hog now. If you don't get Hog, maybe you can get away with it sometimes, but even if you didn't, building in competitive, building into Hand of the Gods seems better most of the time regardless. Not to mention, this costs more than upgrading it from rank 1 Hog. Also, sometimes people started at rank 2 Hog and only had to pay 300 for Fist, in which case I still didn't advocate for it. This item seems incredibly underpowered and very,
It
very
really
bad.
is.
It seems like
Like,
almost worse than Teleport to Gods.
It's the new second worst active. Right
No,
after
no, there's a third one,
Achilles
though.
Spear.
Yeah, it's the third worst because Teleport to This is better than Teleport to Gods, but I think this is
Uh,
the third worst active in the game.
Well, teleport to gods has value before you max it out.
Also, one thing I'm going to predict is competitive players will get this, and I will actually cry to see
I don't
competitive
think
players.
I don't.
I
don't-
think
I
they
don't
will.
think people are
People
that
get
bad.
it now. Mace
No.
people get Fist now.
I mean,
Yeah, but
Fist.
it-
I know it has more
Oh,
merit.
shut
I know
up.
it has more merit,
Like,
but
All right, but like the thing with Fist is you right now at the moment you can stun more than one people, and if you don't have any objective steal, Fist is like a good like pickup. Let's say you're like an assassin, you'll probably never
I
get a
guess.
steal. Like you'll never get a steal, so it might as well just turn it into Fist. Red Fist.
Yeah.
Anyway,
is
regardless of whether you buy it before, getting it on its own, not out of Hog, is completely terrible now.
Something to note that's not in the patch notes.
Or wait, does
You
it
can
build out of
miss
Hog?
it.
Hold on. Does it build out of Hog? says
No,
it's in
it's
its
a
own
single
tree.
item.
Okay, so it's just
It's on
700
tree.
gold for that. Yeah, okay, that's really bad then.
It's you can miss it and it's only in front of you, like a melee attack range, not like a circle around you.
Interesting.
So it's like a cone in front of you.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
That's very strange. Frostbound Hammer, health reduced from 400 to 300. Enemies hit by your basic attacks also have their attack speed slowed by 15%, and it doesn't stack. I think it's a nerf to the item. Not a huge one, but I mean, I don't think the attack speed change is really relevant unless you're boxing, and that's not really
It'll
the
still
use of
just like
Frostbound. The use of Frostbound is like
Yeah.
on Osiris to chase someone down like a squishy, and they're not
Yeah.
gonna care about attack speed. I think
you'll
it's just
still
a...
like only get tier 2.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't change much though.
It,
Even
it
if it is
barely
maybe a
changes
little
the item
worse.
whatsoever. Maybe a small nerf, like a equivalent of 70 health nerf, if you count the attack speed for a relevant part of it. But I think it's a nerf nonetheless. Not really a big change. Won't change that much. So, anyone else have anything to say about this before we move on? 'Cause it seems pretty small to me.
It
Yeah,
is
it's probably
really small.
enough.
Yeah.
Because if you get it, you most of the time you also get Witchblade like on Osiris, and then the auras don't stack for the attack speed slow, so they would cancel each
Oh yeah,
other out. So
that's
it's
true as
like,
well. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like you have
Yeah,
fun
that's
with
even
yourself.
especially worse then. Okay. All right. Greater Aegis can no longer be used while under the effects of CC. This is huge. Best, you want to talk about this since you played mid?
Thanks.
I've
play
been
mid.
asking you first like the past few times, Mace. I wanted to give Best one
No,
chance.
no,
You know?
I don't
'Cause-
care that he answers first. This you said since you play mid.
Yeah, I play mid too. What about me?
I was gonna ask you next, and I've been asking you. You know, go ahead, Best. Go ahead, Best.
I think he's AFK.
Go ahead.
Ready your best.
Mace.
Okay. So it's not like two actives in one anymore. It's just it's kind of sucky. You have to like actually beads if you want to Aegis.
Yeah.
It also means you might get the moving one sometimes.
Now, the
Um,
thing about the moving one that I talked to you about a little bit before is you can still get CC'd in that.
Yeah.
So that's the only
So,
downside.
does it mean Ares can pull you when you're using it?
Yes, he can currently. Greater Aegis, no, but the moving Aegis,
No,
yes.
no, I mean Greater Aegis.
No, you cannot get pulled by Ares with Greater Aegis.
It's like I said, they're making like everything more situational, which is good. And
Yeah.
then again, it is. You probably see more other like defensive items like Combat Blink being played
I
out
think
of that.
you'll see them more, but Aegis is still probably
Yeah,
usually
it
better
just
than
is
anything
still-
else.
Yeah, but like in really specific comps, you'll see more Combat Blinks.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move
It'll
on.
be more frustrating because you're gonna try to click it while under CC and you're
That's
like,
actually a
"Come
pretty
on,
big
go."
change, but I do want to get through it. We've been using a lot of time up, so Greater Purification. This item no longer reduces cooldown times by 5 seconds. We talked about this before with the other one, and the cost is reduced by a little bit. Not much to say. We already talked about it a little bit before with the other change. So, Hunter's Bow removed from the game. It's just tier 2 item is removed. That's it. Straightforward. Finally, Hydra's Lament, an item that we can actually talk about. Cost reduced to 2150, down from a whopping 2850. Reduced physical power by 20. Recharge time reduced from 4 to 3. Passive changed to increase the damage from your next basic attack by 25% after using an ability. This proc now only works on next basic attack, not next successful. So you basically have to hit it, which shouldn't matter for pro players. I mean, if you're relying on that item. Thoughts, guys?
It's gonna be good on like gods like Loki, and you can like building like really fast too.
The problem is you probably get Ninja Tabi now and Jotun, so you're max CDR.
You don't have to build
So-
Jotuns with this item though. I think there's a situation where
Yeah, but on
might
most
see
junglers like Thor or Bastet, you definitely get Jotuns, right?
not necessarily. I mean, with this item, like could this item replace Jotuns?
I mean, if you take this instead of Jotuns, you have no pen boots and no pen item afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think this will replace Jotuns. It's
So
It won't
and-
replace it, but it
It
will.
could. It's viable.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
viable.
but if you already have cooldown boots and
Yeah,
then Jotuns,
well,
you're
what's the
max
alternative to
CDR.
boots? What's the alternative to the CDR now?
They'll get the movement speed one.
Yeah, if you get Loki, then
Yeah,
No,
maybe
movement
you-
speed
you
one's
actually-
maybe
you
if you get the
actually will,
movement
you
speed, this
actually
item
will.
could be good, but
Yeah,
just for the fact that the other items outclass it, it probably isn't that good still. Tough to say. We'll see. Hydra Star cost
But the rank
reduced.
2
I think this
version
is
is
just the rank
decent.
2. Pretty much the same
Yeah.
thing. I wouldn't look too much into it because you're not going to get it just for rank 2. Ichaival, that provides 10 physical pen. This item before was previously used by like Baka solo, and that's like it. Uh, but the fact that it is pen now, especially with how much a lack of pen there is immediately from the boots, is pretty gigantic.
Yeah, it's huge, actually.
Yeah, this item wasn't even that bad before on people that relied on attack speed. Maybe it'll see use now. What do you guys think?
It's even better on Baka. Holy crap.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
It's
And-
like,
Uh, you're gonna see it like used a bit more, but it's hard to say what are gonna like. I don't know. It's hard to say if it's gonna be used a whole lot more, but like it's pretty cheap for what it gives. Basically, optimally it gives you 30 power, and like 10 pen plus like crazy amounts of attack speed for 1700. So
and you get on your and you're better in a boxing situation like two bruises in the soul lane because you reduce their power.
also that if you combat that with Witch, holy crap! Like they're
Yeah.
so weak.
Like Bakasura just kills Cyrus even more.
Mhm. All right, let's move on then. I think it's situational at most. So, Light Blade is just rank 2 attack speed increased, not relevant at all. If you're gonna get the item, you're gonna get it anyway. You're not gonna just get it for rank 2. Mark of the Vanguard's got a cool change. I don't know why there's a boom because it's not like. I don't know if that's a joke or not because if they think it's a big change, it's not. Health
They
increase from
said
100
on
to
stream
150.
like that's actually a lot. So I think
Yeah,
they
it's
are
not.
serious about this.
It's not though. The boom is
Yeah.
hilarious.
They need
You
to
still
put
have-
like I don't know. They need to put like H5 on it.
So the
would be
the
pretty.
only way I can talk about this from a support perspective is also comparing the new Watcher's gift. So we'll just put this one on the back burner for now, and we'll talk about it after we see the new Watcher's gift change as well. So I'll move
Wait,
on
wait,
to
wait,
now.
no,
We'll go
no,
back
no,
to it
the-
in a sec.
Mark the Vanguard's OP now against the new OP physical starter item, the one that does damage over time. Because then that like
Oh yeah, it
reduces
mitigates
the
5 per
damage over
tick.
time.
Yeah, that might actually make
Yeah.
it see use. I didn't think about that. That's actually mitigating a super OP item with that's actually really weird. I didn't
Yeah,
think
it
about that.
negates it.
Yeah.
It's also relatively better if Anubis is in the game.
Okay, Mace. I'm moving on
Yeah.
then. With that, I'm moving on. With that, I'm moving on.
though.
Morning Star of Speed. Removed from the game. Okay, we know another removed item. Odysseus bow price reduced from 2650 to 2450. Honestly, it was really bad before. I haven't done the exact math on it, but I doubt it'll make a difference. What do you
The
guys
item itself is like.
I saw
probably
people
designed.
buying it in PTS.
That
Has to be
means
good.
literally nothing best.
It has to be good.
Okay, Polynomicon. Recharge period down to 3 from 4. Additional damage on in-hand increased from 50% to 60. And it's not guaranteed on the next successful. It's like, if you miss it, you miss the poly proc. So, barely a buff for most people. In competitive, it's a bigger buff because you'll hit more things. But, what do you think about
But
the
even
change?
competitive, it's not guaranteed that you hit
You
your
would
max
get it-
base.
you
Yeah,
would
but
get it
you'll
on
hit it more
Scylla,
often than
that's
you will in
about it.
casuals.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll get it on Scylla.
What? Why not? You used to get it all the time. It was,
I didn't. I don't know. It was okay.
Why would you not?
Sometimes.
It was not.
I mean, that's how I carried games with Scylla.
And that's why he's the best.
I
in
mean-
your
You just
base.
root 2 and poly them. And what
Yeah, that was okay.
poly
but
was
I don't
what,
know.
like 75%?
Yeah, that- it was
Hey,
like-
best is kind of right. You just like one shot them without your ult.
That was a
like,
lot more
well,
power, though.
When you have
Yeah.
full build, you're around like 1,000.
I
And
liked it
it's
when
like
I liked it when Poly was
60%. That's
100.
600 damage.
do you
Like,
think
liked
this
it when
change
Poly
will
was
bring it
100,
back
yeah.
to viability?
Think
I would
what?
only get it on Scylla. I don't know, man.
So it's still pretty
Chronos
garbage
item.
and only situational on a character.
I mean,
Also, please do not get this item on like Chronos. Right?
Last item,
it's
maybe?
pretty bad on Chronos. It's like
This
the
item
worst
is
thing
actually
ever on
complete
Chronos.
garbage on Chronos. Please, please,
Actually,
guys.
unless 6 item maybe.
Sixth item, but like, just because you're auto attacking doesn't make it good.
Well, you can use it.
His
You can make use of
scalings-
it in Joust.
It's still okay.
The passive in
I don't know Joust well enough, but in 99.9% of cases, his scaling is good enough that you don't want to invest into
Yeah.
more scaling. You want to invest into magic power because you already have the scaling. So anyway, that's my side.
I actually agree with it being good in Joust because you need it to take down towers.
That's a different. And anyway, moving on. Protected recall move from the game. Nobody used it. Not really relevant. Pythagorum's Piece no longer provides mana. Irrelevant. Now provides 10% CDR and now branched off Talon Trinket. Mace, you troll by getting this item a lot. What do you think of this change? Do you think
Okay,
it'll help your trolling?
if Talon Trinket is what I think it is, that's probably well, that's pretty big
Yeah,
because Talon Trinket is
the
that's
rank
the
2 of
Bancroft's Talon rank 2,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh
now
wow.
rank 2 doesn't just like well, I guess rank 2 wasn't horrible before, but it cost 1,000. But you have a better middle ground, I guess, with rank 2, because that's 60 magic power on the rank 2 of it.
Mhm.
And 10% CDR makes the final option. I mean, obviously that's better than however much garbage mana was there before. Like, honestly, you don't care about mana. CDR is so much better.
It's gonna go well also with the CDR boots. It has like good synergy. Plus,
Yeah,
like it's more
that's true.
affordable.
Right.
CDR gets more and more powerful the more you have, effectively. Obviously there's a cap. I
What they
still don't
sh-
think you'll buy it just like in a standard mage build. Like, you'll get it on Anubis probably. No, I mean, that's obvious. That's actually a special case.
Yeah,
Maybe,
no,
like,
it's
Rare.
actually a good case now.
There
I
it goes
agree. I
again with
agree.
Anubis.
If you're
If someone
also,
didn't know, his only god is Anubis.
also like if you're a mage heavy team, you'd get it more because it has an
Yeah.
aura.
Right.
You could get it if like, yeah. If
Okay,
I don't know, you have to be, like, the
I think it's pretty
breacher
straightforward. A
mage.
definite buff to the item maybe
Yeah.
makes it viable. Next item, the most garbage item ever designed by mankind in any MOBA, chin size. This item previously, or right now, like in live, pretty much breaks the way that characters are meant to be played, and makes them completely auto-attacked. If their attack progression chain happens to be very fast, this item is actually broken. Not overpowered, but I think it breaks the way the game should be played. Makes 90% of their damage based around this. And there's a correct way to nerf it, which I've mentioned before, but I'll say it again for those of you who don't know. If someone's attack progression chain makes you hit like 1.5.51, Chinchai should do 100%, 50%, 50%, 100. It should match the damage and attack speed of your basic attack chain, because you know it makes people able to be balanced not around an item, but the item to be balanced on everybody. It just doesn't make sense for it to be any other way. Nonetheless,
They nerfed
I
it
hate
the
this
bad
item with a
way.
passion, and any nerfs to it I approve of, so I approve of this change completely.
It also probably just makes crit usually higher
Yeah.
DPS. It already kind of was.
Still
but
necessary on
more
people
so.
like Kali and Osiris, though, but crit is probably better on people without attack progression chains.
Yeah, like you'll see that more and more rarely on ADCs.
Yeah,
Like
definitely.
Executioner's probably like, it's. I need to do the maths, but Executioner's probably like better.
Do you guys have any thoughts on like the implications of the viability of Osiris / Kali?
Honestly,
doesn't change
it'll
a
nerf
ton.
Kali a lot because she was barely viable, I think, but
It
people
won't-
like
it won't change
Osiris,
Osiris,
yeah, it
it
won't
won't
change
change
people that are
Osiris
already good on
also.
standalone, because I think Osiris doesn't even necessarily need chins. It's OP on him, but I mean, I don't think that'll change many of the top characters right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it might make Kali garbage. Other than that, I think everyone else is pretty much fine.
Can we take a short break and say that Shadow's chat is currently very nice?
Very
I
much,
like how
a
it
lot
is.
of copy pasta.
I think we need some Trump mode in here.
Please don't put in sub mode. Okay.
Don't worry, I'm
Radiant
on it,
Board
sir.
removed from the game. Runic Shield. I like this item, so I'm gonna look at it, like I did all the others. This item has a new passive, Passive Aura. All enemies within 55, or with range 55 have their attack speed reduced by 15%, same as Witchblade, and their magic power reduced by 50, which is basically Witchblade for magic. And it will not stack with the other attack speed slows, which doesn't really matter at all. The attack speed is completely irrelevant on this item in 99.9% of the times, but the magic power
Brian
reduced
Chronos.
is huge. Yeah, like
Yeah.
situationally it is, but you know, you'll get this for the
I mean-
magic power reduced, which is gigantic.
Freya can't build like I think it's already like a terrible choice to get Fatalis and Witchstone at the same time. But if they do that, they basically have nothing.
Yeah,
like,
if
as
there's a
damage.
magic jungler like Alkwang or Freya, or like an ADC magic, this could replace Witchblade sometimes. More or less, you'll just get this instead of Witchblade when you need to protect against a magic assassin like Alkwang. And that's pretty much it for support. This might see a lot more use on someone like a Bruiser, because it gives the Fizz power, which they can make a lot more use out of than a support can, but that's where I put it. It's not bad on supports,
Does
it's
that
good
mean
sometimes, but
does that mean a support can't get it?
I think a support can get it. Like I said, basically,
Oh,
from my
never mind.
perspective, well, you have to be a
No,
physical.
'cause
You have to be a physical
Yeah,
support.
exactly. You have to.
You can't
be
get it on
physical.
magic. Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's kind of shitty. I kind of hate that, but I
Yeah,
guess it's...
like I actually tweeted out this earlier. If you could get this item on magical supports, even though you don't get the physical power, it's still pretty good. Like, you don't get it for the Fizz power at all. It's wasted stats. So I think it would be super, super situational on a situational physical support, so you might see one in 100 games. But maybe good on Bruisers, hard to say. Any thoughts?
I mean, it's. I feel like it's good against when you have a bruiser support, and they're
yeah,
like
I agree, but
there's
Bruiser
no
supports are
reason
so
not to get it.
situational now, though.
But yeah, it's kind of awkward to build early. So yeah.
Yeah, this would be like 5th or 6th item.
Right,
The
I
passive is
agree.
pretty crazy though.
Yeah, the passive's insane once you can afford to put it in a build, though.
I mean,
Okay.
the more you put it early, the more its value goes up. Basically at Witchstone. So it's like it's
Yeah.
really awkward.
You can't
Well,
afford
it's
to
not
get it early,
valueless later, though. The magic power nerf is still pretty
Yes,
flat.
but
It's still
it's-
pretty good.
Not valued less, but like you have very low magic power. You basically
Yeah, I understand that, but
basically
still.
put it to none if you get that.
I'm gonna
So
move on then,
it's-
because this item's hard to evaluate and situational. Shield Overgrowth, this item has been changed and moved into the round shield tree as the tier 2 item. 20 physical power, 20 physical protection, 10% CDR, and passive after healing yourself from an ability, you gain 25% move speed for 2 seconds, with an ICD of 10 seconds.
So you can only get a passive on what you saw.
Probably, yeah.
This is a, but by the way, this is a physical only item, because this item has physical power on it.
I mean, like you get Baka, Guan, and the Herc, but like
Yeah.
none of them would really get this. I don't know.
I think the passive move speed isn't really that helpful.
The passive is irrelevant. You wouldn't buy this item because of the passive.
Well,
It'd be more of a
first
stat.
off, let me touch on Baka. Let's look at the people that could buy it. Like, Guan isn't really in the meta, so I'm not really going to count him now. The other people are Chalk, Baka, Vamana, and I don't know, so maybe
does
someone else.
does Vamana count?
With his ult.
If his ult counts,
Yeah,
his
like
ult will
5%
count.
movement speed and his ult might
Yeah,
be
Vamana, it's actually
quite
not bad for
significant.
Vamana.
Is
Interesting
it
for Vamana.
at
Chalk,
Is it at the end of the ability?
as
healing
soon as you
ability,
use it,
or
as soon as
okay.
you get healed by it.
Wait. If
Okay.
it's physical power. I was gonna say if you can get this on
You-
Hell, then it'll be like a sprint.
This is
every
really
10
good for chase
seconds.
potential, by the way. I don't think you'll get this on Baka
You
because
wouldn't-
not only
you
can
wouldn't
you
get it
eat a
on
minion
Baka.
mid-fight, but you already have a bunch of move speed from your passive, which is diminished. So it's
I
irrelevant
feel
on
like it's
Baka.
outclassed. I feel like it's outclassed by other items, anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of a.
But if you want to get value, it would be on Chalk or
I mean, if
or
you're gonna
Vamana.
buy this, it'd be like 3rd or 4th item. 'Cause
Right.
you need like your 2 base items.
I also think it's outclassed. Cool design though. Very interesting.
There's another thing that is it kind of feels shitty. They're putting CDR on like every item.
Yeah.
I know it's awkward, but like
Everyone's gonna have a ton of CDR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Especially with a boost
Like-
change. That's gigantic.
The pen meta is like over because there's like less pen on like everything.
instead
Bruiser
of
healer time.
instead of
Yay.
Yeah.
nerfing everyone,
Yeah,
for a
healer-
second, they're
this-
just gonna buff everyone.
Healers might get an inadvertent change. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going for the sake of time. Spike Shell removed. Oh well, that answers that. We were gonna talking about Spike Shell as an alternative to the 40% reflect item. I guess we can't get it anymore, but
Oh,
regular
but
shell's
the
better.
fantastic.
So it doesn't really matter. Spirit Robe.
Oh, sovereignty. Oh,
One at a
okay,
time.
okay.
So we're gonna talk about Spirit Robe. They removed the health from it, which is huge, but they gave it 30 extra Fizz Prot and 10 extra Magic Prot. I actually didn't see that they
How much
removed the
health
health
they
before.
reduced.
How much health did it have?
Macetodaface.
I think.
What?
You have items up?
It had 150. Pretty sure. it had
150? Yeah, this is a definite buff to the item. It almost replaces Urchin because it's just tons of initial procs
mean, it's
and
Urchin
a
without
really
the
good
sex.
passive. Yeah, but I value
Yeah.
I value Spirit Robe's passive better than Urchin's passive most of the time, unless you get Urchin like first item, which is maybe gonna be a thing, but we'll see. So, huge.
Yeah, it's a huge change.
It's a very valuable item. You'll get it in a lot of cases. It might be the new replacement for Sovereignty. Hard to say, but definitely a very, very, very good item. Sovereignty now, this is the biggest nerf that this item has seen in a while.
Whoa.
Fizz
what
Prot.
the-
So they reduced the cost to 2,000. So keep that in mind when I'm reading off the rest of the nerfs.
They hated it so much.
35
they-
reduced Fizz Prot, 250 reduced health, and the aura is now only magical protection and an irrelevant MP5 or HP5. I guess the HP5
It's
is
not that
okay
irrelevant.
then. I thought it was
Towards the
MP5.
late game,
HP5 is okay then.
25 is like huge. Just becomes
Yeah.
less and less valuable the more the game goes on.
But also, if you're against a classic ADC, you provide magic prot to your ADC, which is not what you want to give them if he. in
As a
lane.
support, it's hard to see what other items will replace it, but I'm pretty sure I could find something that's more efficient than it now. That being said,
Mix
Well,
that with
the
gun.
aura is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's still, even for yourself, it's still 70 effective protections, which
Not if they
is
have 0 magical damage, Shadow.
like for your personal actions, it's already almost on par with other
Yeah.
items.
This
A
is
little low in
probably
health.
maybe over
Like
nerfed, but where the item should have been for a long time.
it's
Do you
actually not
think
that
It
bad. You might
might,
stun it every
you
game.
still might get it every game, even though it's
But I guess
nerfed
you would
basically
get
to the
the,
ground. Like it's half as effective
More
and
or
still
less,
viable.
it's I don't know. Like if you want to be like tanky, really like if you go against like double physical, you get Midgard and
You
over
might get, yeah,
sovereignty
you
now.
might, you might just get Midgard. This item I don't think you'll get first on supports because it might make you too squishy. You might get it like fourth.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
This is like a
As
don't
fourth
get
or
Russian.
fifth item.
As someone pointed out in chat, the tier 2 gives 40 physical protection, and upgrading it.
That's
goes
only in
down
PTS.
10
They're not gonna have that live. That's changes
Well,
aren't
they
final.
can do
Some
those.
stuff is overlooked, so I would not count that into the
Yeah,
relevance.
I
in
know.
sub.
I
But
know,
hilarious
that's
nonetheless.
hilarious.
Okay. Tower Shield. This item no longer has magic prots, 30 fizz power reduced and cost reduced.
Who cares?
What is Tower Shield? Oh, it's,
It's
rank,
like-
it's rank 2 runic. Yeah, who cares? That's
Yeah,
irrelevant.
something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Transcendence no longer gives MP5. Irrelevant.
Woohoo.
Void Shield, cost reduced. Nifty. It wasn't too bad before. Maybe it'll see use. Good change.
I don't
Eh.
know. You'd probably
Especially
like,
with less
it's-
pen.
You
It's
still
100
probably won't
gold.
get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
with the pen changes to like everything. If you need pen,
Right.
you may go towards
mean,
that, but there's probably better options. I don't see like every other item.
Also, with the removal from pen from the boots, spear might actually be better because you'll have starting flat pen.
Yeah. I'll move on from that because that's a pretty small change. Warlock Sash starting health reduced from 300 to 200. Health per stack increased by 1 per stack. Power per stack decreased by 0.1 per stack. Doesn't really change the item. If you got it before, you
Wait,
can still get it now.
so it's overall less health, right?
No,
It's the exact same
equal,
overall.
but it's 10
Is it?
less magic power.
Oh. I thought it was 75 cents.
I can't see you not getting this item if you wouldn't before, honestly.
No, yeah, you'd still give it. You should
So
give
not
I
a
actually
change
didn't
that'll
get it
affect
before.
builds.
Yeah,
This
it's
won't
like-
affect builds though, so it's not really.
It's gonna be more
Well-
awkward to build it if you're mid-mage.
Okay, so
like solo would always get it though.
with Watcher's Gift, I'm going to talk about getting this in relation to Vanguard now. So this item is reworked. It has now 100 health just like it did before, but it does not have the MP5 or HP5, and the HP5 was like the biggest part of the item. But being within range of 60 of a minion, which is the same as the assist range now, without dealing the killing blow rewards 4 bonus gold and 10 health. What's interesting about this is the old Midas, or the old Watchers, if you were in range, gave 54 gold per minute. This, I believe, gives 48. Now,
Yeah.
every minute this also heals for 60. The old HP5, I think, also heals for 60. So if you get every last hit, this is 6 less gold per minute efficient, but your teammate doesn't have to get the last hit, so it's probably about the same in almost every case. But like the healing and gold is more guaranteed for sure.
When you're
Or,
out of
I mean, the
combat,
gold is more guaranteed, and
Also, you
I
could
don't
just you could just zone and get the bonus without
right,
last
yeah,
hitting.
exactly. That's big too.
we're gonna see more if you play physical support. You're gonna see more offensive starter items rather than defensive like that.
Yeah, I think compared to old Watchers, this is almost exactly the same and should be considered as pretty much the same. Compared to the new Vanguard, especially with the new Fizz Power item, Vanguard could see a resurgence, especially based on who's in the lane. Also, if you're going to be more aggressive in lane by initiating on the other person, Vanguard has so much more use because the point of Watchers being stronger before is that you didn't really fight people next to minions because if you did, you were kind of losing anyway. But now
would
if you fight people
watch.
next to minions, you're gonna you'll be forced to fight next to minions because of how short the zone range is. So Vanguard, even without a buff, might see use over even old Watchers. So that's how I see these items. If you're gonna get Vanguard, it won't be because of the 50 health buff. It'll be because of the meta change. So I don't think it needed a buff. That being said, it's
50
really
health.
strong with it. Yeah, it's a pretty small
Boom.
buff, and nonetheless. Boom, yeah.
Wait, isn't Watchers overall less healing?
Watchers get then what?
HP5.
What it is now?
It gives 10 health per
10
minute.
HP5, so that's
Oh,
120.
Yeah.
Actually, oh yeah, this is
Right
actually
now,
twice
and
as
then-
much healing, right?
No,
I was
that's
wrong.
equivalent. It's equal. if HP5 was 120 health over a minute, you get 2 waves over a minute.
It was
which
10
is
MP5
120
before.
health.
Okay, okay.
So it's roughly equivalent to HP5.
Oh yeah, it's the same. Never mind, I was wrong. Okay, I was
Oh wait,
right
it
the
says
first
any
time.
minion death though.
Okay,
You can
but if
heal
you're rotating
off
and getting
jungle
buff
camps.
camps, yeah,
That's
if you're
nifty.
rotating,
Yeah, this item's a bit stronger, I think. Pretty close. The MP5 loss is hard hitting. Maybe I don't know. At
Isn't
worst,
it-
it's very close.
yeah, it's like it's in my opinion slightly worse, but it's not worth not getting it though. If
Maybe if it's the aggressiveness, Vanguard's viable, but if not, then same thing. You'll just get it the same case. But Vanguard is maybe insane because of the meta change. We'll see how it
but
changes.
Shadow, there's also no more gold boots, so the like little bonus gold, I don't feel like it's gonna change much. At the end of the day, it's I don't know. Like I think you'd rather go aggressive and look for like more
Well, if you
kills
can,
than-
it's really tough to see what people are going to pick after the change too. So
yeah.
if it's what I'm expecting, Vanguard will be good. If it's more or less the same, then Watchers will be good. It's tough to read predictions of what people are going to do based on what people are going to do based on what people are going to do, without even knowing what items are going to be necessarily top. Next item is Winged Blade, health reduced, 50 health change. Doesn't change anything, and I'm sure we can all agree on that. Witch Blade adjusted it so it no longer stacks from other items. Pretty irrelevant too. Okay, finally God changes.
Wait, do you think they fixed the bug
I
for
don't know.
Wing
Best.
Blade?
I
If
don't
they
have
fixed
that
it, they
answer.
probably wouldn't say it in the patch
Why would they
notes.
not?
I don't know that answer.
because-
That's not
they
relevant,
fixed it.
I
please.
don't know.
Okay,
They
honor.
could just say fixed a
So,
bug.
with the new map, they want to have a new philosophy on ADCs. They don't want people to auto-clear the wave except mages and supports, and that's it,
Everything
apparently.
else?
They just don't want they don't want hunters to be able to clear the wave, but mages are fine, no big deal. So now on her, 50% damage after any enemy hit after the first hit. So more or less half wave clear except for one target. Thoughts, opinions?
You could stop the thing from the archers now and not take as much damage.
You
That's
mean like
kinda
stand
rel-
behind one minion
Yeah,
and then get
you could-
hit by half?
You could
and then...
stand behind, like, in the middle of the minion
Well,
wave.
even though you take half damage, it has half effectiveness, so it's the same like efficiency relative to each other. So I don't think that's really a huge deal.
Didn't Watchers also give like 1 gold per 5? The old?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, but it totaled to be 54 gold per minute versus 48.
Oh, that wasn't a total. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what I think about these changes. This could also lead to more fighting and less lane pushing. Like I said before, we've talked about it a little bit. I don't agree
Is
or disagree with these
mana
changes, but you know.
Is
Oh yeah, that's
cost just
like.
hurting?
Also, one thing I very much disagree with is high mana costs. That makes it way less quality of life and barely changes the competitiveness aspect of it. And sure, you're not going to use an ability on the wave every time, but that doesn't really matter.
What's on her base like mana pool anyways? It's only like what, like 4 spears or something in your
Yeah,
room?
I
If
very
that-
very much disagree with the mana cost increase.
You'll
but
clear like 3 waves and then you have to back.
but you're not
If
going
you
to
jump,
clear the
you have
waves.
to back a
They
whole
do
wave
not want you to
sooner.
clearing waves with your ability.
His
Yeah.
base
Yeah,
mana,
it's-
his base mana is 255.
Like I said, this will either lead to
So-
aggression or weird push lanes or mages in the dual lane or something. It's really hard to read the meta, so I'm going to move on. Ao Kuang, reduce scaling on his basic attacks from 28 to 20. Probably warranted. He's OP right now. So I like the change.
It doesn't
Best
change
mace.
him much, though.
Rushed.
Oh, Ao Kuang? Yeah, I mean,
Still just a strong.
Yeah, he'll still be strong. I don't know.
Even
It's,
if you get-
agreed.
it's a lot of scaling though. You would need to build like a bit more power because people right now are just building super defensively and still doing a shit ton of damage. But like
Well, it's mostly due to like telkines and like your attack speed.
he's still OP though,
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
by a lot.
I do like the philosophy of nerfing things in a small way before like overdoing it. So I can get with the change. Apollo, general attack speed per level increased slightly. It's pretty relevant, but nothing huge. So beautiful damage nerfed. So it'll hit for like, hold on. So it'll hit for hold on. So it'll hit for like 100, then 75, then like 56, then 42%, then 31%, then 23%, and so on. So it'll do less and less and less damage per enemy hit. So the last enemy will end
So
up taking about
it
a
won't-
fourth damage.
It won't be doing much to the archers. Wave.
Exactly. Maybe I'll just aim it at the archers first. It's tough to say, but again, this is a pretty blanket change that they're doing to all hunters, so
Maybe you only hit one creep.
more or less.
Yeah,
we'll see.
you only hit one creep.
It's not even nerfed then,
Exactly.
except mana.
Yeah, the knock up on the ult is
Yeah, I think the
also...
knock up on the alt change is
I like that.
warranted. I like it too.
Sometimes they would land on you, do like 600 damage with the ult, and then auto attack you for 1,000, and then you died.
Yeah, I like
Like,
that
while
change.
you were knocked up.
As far as wave clear goes, it's interesting. All hunters are getting the same change. So, next is Kronos. His stop time is no longer immune by a slow.
Thank goodness.
It helps
One
them a
thing
little.
that the way this is worded is, the end was considered a stun, but the way that they're making it not being slow immune is making the
Making the whole
first
thing
part
a
of it a
stun.
stun, which means it'll DR the second part unless that's a special case. So, if that's
If it
the
double DRs,
case,
that's a nerf, whatever.
yeah,
It shouldn't
that
be
that
like
could be an accidental nerf. Hopefully they implement it correctly. We'll see. It's really tough to expect all those cases a lot of times, though, so I wouldn't really fault them that much. But do you think the attack speed slow is
But it doesn't.
important?
Well, it
The
doesn't
attack
say
speed-
anything. It doesn't say anything. Like, does it slow your attack speed after, or does
Yeah,
it...
I was gonna say. If
Oh
it's
yeah,
only
this
like
is
Or
after
does
also
you
an
get
example.
stunned.
This is a prime example
Does
of
it-
why I should be hired by high-res to do tooltips because
Does it
stop time
permanently
now
slow your
reduces target attack speed by
25%?
25%.
Like,
On
Each-
the
each
first
time you
part,
get hit by
after
it,
you
it
get
just
stunned,
permanently
at
reduces
both
your attack
parts, does it
speed.
stack? Is it for 3
If you
seconds?
get
Is it for
hit
1 second?
if you get hit by it 4 times in a game,
Hi-Res,
you can't
please hire me to do
auto-attack anymore.
tooltips. I would almost
If
do it
it-
for free. I really, really want to make this game readable.
Like,
Please, please,
if it
please.
reduces your attack speed
But
before,
it
like,
stops
stuns
time.
you,
It
it's
stops the
like-
time. Why would it matter for how long? The time is stopped.
Why doesn't Kronos just stop the whole game and
Oh.
win?
Also,
Fine,
it
anyways.
stopped him. Stopped him. Why do they hate Tim?
stopped him.
Why do they hate
Wait,
Tim?
no.
What do they have
Stop
against
him, he's out of
Tim?
control.
But raise your Bible thumps.
Quick, stop him! Stop
Through
him! he
space
can't
and
escape.
Tim, and now this. What kind of monsters are high-res to hate somebody named Tim this badly?
They torture him and then want the community to stop him.
I think
Oh.
the biggest Chronos change is actually cooldown on the 2. Like that's actually pretty huge. A lot of the time on Chronos you use your 2.
That's his 3.
Wait,
Yeah,
no,
that's
that's
This is 3.
Yeah,
No,
that's the same. but-
no, they need to change the cooldown as 2 though. 'cause
Oh,
you,
well,
like,
then
has to
cooldown's
wait
increased.
ages to go
It's
in.
increased. Wow,
Yeah.
that's actually.
Oh,
Why'd they
what?
do that?
Why?
Is that a
It's
net
terrible.
nerf? Did they nerf
Okay,
Kronos?
yeah, that-
They nerfed Kronos this patch. They nerfed a non-playing god. Never
They
mind.
nerfed Kronos.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I just saw what I wanted to see because like that's horrible. It's
But Shadow, they give him attack speed reduction. Like,
Attack speed
permanent.
reduction,
Okay,
the most
if the
important
attack
stat.
speed
If-
reduction is permanent, it's a
They
buff.
can.
But
And,
I feel like
and it
what they
stacks.
did-
It stacks.
I feel like what they did is try to make Kronos
Not with
viable
Witchblade,
in the
though.
dual lane.
Yeah, maybe.
By slowing
That
the attack
really could be a thing though. I mean, mages have way
What-
better push.
why would
Yeah.
they increase the cooldown of the stun? It's
Yeah,
already
I
like
don't know. It doesn't make sense.
pretty long.
It's not
Maybe
that
they're
much.
worried about him being too good in the meta with the changes,
And also,
which is
Oh, man.
realistic.
Also, guys, like
Yeah.
everyone's gonna have 40% CDR with the new patch, so
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah, but
Okay.
we're talking about relative. It's more than anything, so it
Yeah, I
still
know.
hurts him that it's
Cupid,
cooldown.
share the
you,
love.
You still go auto attack on.
Guys, you can't use Witchblade on Kronos anymore. It doesn't
Oh,
stack
no.
with the attack
It actually
speed slow.
might. It might. The wording's
Yeah,
weird.
I think I mentioned that it stacks.
Yeah. Share the love. Mana cost reduced from 60 to scaling to 80 to 50 at all ranks. Good quality of life change. I'm all for reducing mana cost. I think they're a bit high at the moment, and
It's
it won't change its
it's
viability.
a good change.
What'll change its viability is the meta of the patch slash lack of blue buff. So.
Yep.
Cool change. Interesting.
Well, it's also good
Another change
because
is.
now at every point, 2 collected hearts from
Alright.
ally.
Well,
Yeah,
It
it's
gives them-
always a net mana buff,
yeah.
which is cool.
yeah.
I like it. I like that
Well,
design a lot.
As far as 2 hearts are picked up by an ally.
Finally, Fields of Love is no longer ability. It doesn't diminish itself. I think it was a bit of an
It's no
oversight
longer an
before
ability.
to.
That was horrible.
Yeah, and it was a bit of an oversight before it's finally fixed. I'm really happy about it. In case you were wondering, the way it worked is if you had all your stacks in your passive, when you ulted, the Mesmerize and Stun would hit one right after another, and one of them would have reduced duration. So for Cupid, those abilities don't DR each other. I don't know how it affects other DRs. Not really that relevant, but good change. It makes Cupid a little bit more viable out of a lack of previous oversight. So good change. Hu Yi, increased projectile speed. Has anyone here played Hu Yi a lot yet? Or How Yi, Hu Yi?
Played him
I
one
have,
game.
Who?
yeah, I played him. I have exactly 0 games played.
No,
Actually,
Who's on
it's like-
first?
His ricochet is like easy to hit now. Like I've seen like it always was easy to hit, but like the ricochet, like, he actually has good clear now compared to like on her.
Not to
and
mention
Apollo.
clear, but this ability wasn't terrible for poke before, but now it's more consistent. It's a good quality of life change, and I approve.
Yeah, but his dive bomb, he's no longer
Right.
immune to everything.
Honestly, it was a bit of a clunky ability before. I agree with it completely.
Yeah.
It should be just like another jump. One thing that I would like to see change on his dive bomb is not being able to be CC'd once you're visibly in the air on his 3, even though it hasn't fired yet. It's just a bit of an animation slash firing time conflict or oversight or something, but I would really like to see that changed, at least graphically. Nonetheless, I think this is an overall quality of life change, whether it's a buff or nerf doesn't really matter. I like how they changed it.
I'm
Kukulkan,
watching like
I know you and Best play a lot of Kukulkan, so this gives him one more tick of his 3 after it hits him.
One more tick of damage, yeah.
Okay, he was kind of bad on the bad side when it was 3 seconds. He was okay.
I think
Like
Silas Crush still does more damage and higher scaling.
Yeah, like, I don't know. They should just make it 3 seconds.
The
people hate
reason they
him.
did that
If
is
it's-
because
if
people that
it's-
weren't experienced at the game could get hit by the 3 and then take the full damage of, well, the 3, but I don't know.
But Silas still doing more damage with
I mean,
Crush.
I
right
think-
now,
Go ahead, Best.
even if it's 3 seconds, people probably still wouldn't even play him.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I remember he was kind of, like, he was lower on the tier list of mages when it was 3 seconds, even though, like, a lot of people were like, oh my god, he's OP. But, like, I don't know. Well, the thing is, even at 2.5, he's pretty bad at 2.5, but he might be very occasionally be playable if you're trying to, like, just kill, like, the immobile, like, tanks, like, if you're trying to kill, like, a Sylvanas or something in your comp, because his ult is pretty insane. But, like, I don't know. It should really be 3 seconds if they want him to be a viable option.
Fair enough. But for casuals, I think they don't want it to be too much because people complained, more or less. But I agree with buffing him. He's definitely underpowered at the moment. Neath's Spirit Arrow, no longer ability. This ability no longer has its damage and root reduced for successive enemies hit after the first.
Oh, it
Neath
does.
is
okay.
gonna be like
Won't
top
Neath
tier.
just completely
is
outpush
now-
everybody?
Well, Neath already had
Yeah.
arguably the best clear. I think this is I don't know if they didn't realize that.
Alright,
She's
boys, you
good
know
wave
what to
clear.
do. You know what to do, boys.
Neath is probably
Give me
really good
Neath.
now if wave clear is relevant. So
Give me
No, but
Neath,
best,
guys.
no, it doesn't. It
Give
helps you
me
relative
Neath.
to other
Give me
ADCs,
Neath.
not Neath
Give
solo
me
lane.
Neath. Give me Neath.
Okay,
Also,
Beth.
like you can zone people with your broken
Weaves.
weave.
yeah, exactly. And zoning
Like, if they
and
get
zoning in the
close
new
to
patch
the
is
range, you
huge.
just
Neath
shred
might be the new like
Yeah.
auto ban ADC. It's really tough to say, but could be.
Tough to say, but like she benefits so much from this patch.
Oh yeah,
Like,
big,
it's
big
only-
time, big time.
She's like the only one with super good clear that didn't get nerfed. Except, I mean, I guess like Uller and stuff like didn't get nerfed, but like Uller's like insanely mana hungry. Like she's the only one that's not insanely mana hungry and
I mean,
has
she kind of
OP
is.
clear. I
She
mean,
needs
not as
back,
much-
backflip 1 to clear.
yeah, I mean, but you can also just one kind of. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not
I
like OP
mean,
clear that way, but
yeah.
it's roughly equivalent to where Apollo
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
In
win the
before
push,
in
but,
before
like-
supports builds level 1 salvation to give the ADC just that bit of mana.
Level 1 is Salvation a new tree now?
Nope,
Did I
it's
miss
the
that?
exact
back
same.
shot.
Why'd you say rank 1 Salvation?
No,
Level
he said
one- level one,
because
rank
level
3
one
Salvation.
begins
Oh,
rank
level
3.
1 Salvation.
Even without backflipping, her wave clear was already better than Apollo's.
Yeah.
Yep.
And cost less
I mean,
mana
like,
than Apollo's
So
did before the
even
buff
just
nerfs
spirit
to
arrowing,
Well,
spirit arrowing the wave is the best wave clear in the game now.
Yep.
So
Well,
Neath might
compare
be
her
good.
against compared against any other ADC, like they can't clear the wave. So if you just hard push with
AMC
Neath, you're
can.
kind of I guess.
Yeah, AMC
No.
could be really good too. He already had the best wave clear. Now it's
Ram's wave clear didn't get nerfed, but blue hurts him a lot, right? Not having blue.
right.
Yeah.
Same with AMC. That's true. Same with
Yeah.
Uller.
Neath is
No,
definitely
no,
Blue
Ram-
nerf was
Ram-
gigantic.
Ram's wave clear was nerfed. We'll see that in 2 gods later.
Oh yeah, okay, we just weren't there yet. Okay, moving on then, we'll get to Rom next, right after Nox. So, Nox is considered really strong at the moment, so they nerfed her. Her 3 cooldown is increased from 3 to 4. Her magic power scaling is reduced by 10%. A small change. That's probably how I would nerf her if I were to do it. Very, very small change at a time, and that might put her in an okay spot. Maybe even a bit under, like under what it should be. But the biggest change to this patch is the casting time of her ult is changed from 0.25 seconds to 1 second. What are your implications, or what do you think this implies, Mason Best?
Gonna like be awkward to hit now.
It's
No,
gonna be
it's
like
clunky.
yeah, it's gonna be like a. It's not gonna be as bad as like Alcon, but it's gonna like have the same feel kind of.
Okay.
It might
Well,
be
no, it stays with you. So like, it's
Yeah,
not like
you can move around, yeah, but like
it's closer to like AMC
it's
Stinger
like a
before.
Giannis ult where
You
you
have
like
time to
charge it
jump
up.
out
Yeah.
really like
Yeah,
easily.
I don't know, it's gonna be kind of awkward.
Also, part of the strongest thing was like, let's say like one of the something that was really strong is if like let's say Hunbats or Thor lands on you. Like if Hunbats jumps on you, you could ult him, and then Hunbats can't really like ult 2 and instigate you.
Without
Or if
taking
Thor
the
like
damage.
landed on you, you couldn't.
Wait.
You would. If Thor landed on you, you would beads ult him and then like get damage before he even starts to spin, hammer, or wall.
Now
like,
it's
with
not
the
only a
start of
tell,
time-
but it's harder to hit.
You also not CC immune, so like you can
Yeah.
Thor lands on you, you start casting it
You can
while
you
stunned.
can get stopped
You
by
start casting
everything.
it, you're dead. Like
Do you think this will make Nox completely out of the metagame, or like from being viable?
Uh,
maybe.
Still be good in casuals, but
If they-
in
if they have
competitive,
a-
it's a huge hit.
if they have a lot of CC, it would definitely hurt her a lot.
Yeah. I think now Nox
all-
has a huge
Without CC,
weakness.
it's a nerf too, especially the 3 to 4 second thing.
Yeah, I mean like, I'm just talking about her ult mates.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
And it's also like so easy to avoid right now. Like if you see her cast the shit, like you just jump out, easy. It's I don't
I
know.
think this could even kill Nox completely. It's tough to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah.
but other mids might just be better. Like,
Like you can just kind of chain CC your like chain
It's
CC
like
to
old
like
Hercules
stop her ult.
motor.
Like,
Right.
You can just stop her ult.
you can
every
extend the
time.
duration of your CC by 0.99 seconds
It's
every
actually
CC you have.
it's a longer startup time than old Herc, and old Herc used to like have to throw his motor like 6 times before he got it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, now imagine a
I
Nox
was
is
so
squishy that
annoyed
you
by
want to
that.
CC even more. Like, I think this change is bigger than people make it out to be, and it might kill her from being viable at all.
Yeah.
Okay,
I tend to agree. Like other mages are
yeah.
better than that.
Rama, Astral Strike, which is his 1, I believe. Damage from this ability is now reduced to 75% for each enemy hit after the first. Rushed, how do you
That's
think
a
this affects
lot.
the dual lane?
Like again, it's a good like the clear is still gonna be like relevant for like he can still like clear the wave, but it's gonna take more hours, which means more mana, which you need more mana, but you don't have because you don't have blue buff, so it's just gonna be awkward. Like I said, like Need's gonna be like overpowered. Rama is gonna
Completely
fall
agree.
off.
Completely
Okay,
agree.
ADC hype.
But yeah, like all the ADCs that are considered OP, Apollo on her and Rama are gonna get nerfed to hell, and then like all the lower tiers are just like because they didn't nerf them, so they're gonna go up.
Yep,
And-
agreed.
And the really good strength of like on her was like his early game and like pressure, but you lose it basically lose it all. It's just I don't know. They needed to find another way to like nerf them, and basically like I feel like attack speed steroids should have been hit more than their ability to clear, and now they're just like, they're not useless, but they're
Right.
gonna be like really hard to play.
So ADCs, it's going to be tough to evaluate them completely, but the top ones probably aren't top anymore.
Neat.
Yeah, Neath will be really good. Moving on though to Sobek, Blessing of the Nile is passive, gives him 2 more per stack, which is 6 prots total. Okay. I mean, it's
'Kay.
relevant. It's definitely
Not
not
really.
useless, but it's like a couple
I mean-
percent less damage taken. I guess it's a small buff. Buff nonetheless, but the important change is lurking in the
Ultimate
waters. Right now his ult slows for 15%, but now it scales to 35% with level, which is really significant. It makes it a lot easier to like chase someone down or just keep him in place. He basically gets more CC this patch.
I think if it goes into a more aggressive meta, Sobek might become top tier again.
It's actually true, because if you consider trying to zone people from waves, Sobek was always really good at that before, and maybe he'll be the same way now. It's tough to say, but the changes to him here might help as well.
You still have the problem that he still has the problems that he also have the problems that he had like before. He's really messes up eyes. And
Right, exactly.
that's why he wasn't played, and that's why people will hesitate to play him. He's gonna be like really strong in lane. He always has been, but like he still has the weaknesses he used to.
Right. Alright, finally, the last change is Shablanque.
The Shablanque buff, boys.
Branching Bolas. This ability no longer toggles off when under the effects of CC. Good quality of life change.
Yoo-hoo.
Changes
He's
absolutely
optimal, right?
nothing for competitiveness though, but kudos
Aw.
for Hi-Res making the game nicer to play. So I like it. I guess that wraps everything up. Did you guys have any last thoughts?
Mages that benefit as much from, or like really need the depend boots are worse. Like Poseidon's gonna be really awkward now. Poseidon
Right,
already was kind of
mages that were meant to be a level 5 powerhouse might be a lot worse now.
Yeah. Like Isis, like it's fine, like whatever. You won't one shot people you didn't anyway. You'll just do more CC. But like Poseidon just doesn't kill people now.
Right.
Agni's gonna be weaker too.
He's a little weaker, but he's not hurt nearly as bad as like Poseidon or
yeah.
something. Like he'll get more
Poseidon's
bombs,
taken
which is
to use
still
it.
relevant.
Yeah, if you have
Right.
CDR on a mage, you're not going to be able to ult 2 times in a fight. But if you have CDR on Agni, you can still get another bomb in a fight. So CDR
The
helps Agni a
items-
little bit more than other mages.
Kronos and Pharah are technically getting nerfed because of the items that are put out.
But Kronos might see new viability because of duo lane potential. So
Except his stun is
Yeah.
longer range, is longer possible. But yeah, the dual lane changes. He's
It's
nerfed
3
in mid.
seconds.
He could be
It's-
the
buffed in
physical
duo
power
relative to
starter
other
item, the new
ADCs.
one, is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's like
I think it's the
minimum
most
30
overpowered
fizz
item in
power
this
for-
patch by far. It's the equivalent of
Yep.
like at least 30 fizz power for 800 gold, compared to
Oh, no,
15.
no, 40. It has. Wait,
Yeah,
what,
it's basically
what is
40.
The item?
It's basically you pay 800 gold for 40 fizz power and a frostbound hammer slow, which is
Oh, it's
really
a really mini
unfair.
frost, but yeah.
Yeah, it's mini, but nonetheless relevant.
Yep.
It is by far the most overpowered item in this patch. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm overreacting, but from a math perspective, it seems like it should be nerfed immediately. Other
By
than that,
every game.
I like a lot of the quality of life changes this patch. I like a lot of the, choice changes that they made this patch. They gave you players a lot more choice with this to, build around what your opponents are doing instead of this build is core no matter what. I can't change what I'm doing here. So I like those changes. Other than that,
there's a thing I don't think it's harder to get pen, and bruisers are gonna be even stronger than they
Yeah.
are.
Mages have like no pin options. Like
Yeah.
they already had.
yeah,
really
one thing
low.
I dislike, I agree with you guys completely. The amount of pen options for people has decreased severely just from the lack of pen on boots. Bruisers might be stronger because it's harder to find pen. So we'll see how that pans out. But thank you guys much for watching.
Yeah,
I'll post this
They
on
need to add
YouTube.
it.
I'll post this to my YouTube shortly. In the meantime, follow me on Twitch and Twitter and stuff. I'll post it all in chat in just a sec. And I think that's about it. Unless you guys have final wrap-up things.
Raw meta OP.
Okay, thank you.
Basic
know-
life, yay!
Do you know PogChamp's the third most used emote?
Oh no, not this.
Oh my god, best.
With Twitch chat's help, we can get it to first.
Alright, that's it, guys. See you later.
Mannequin Scepter is gonna be dumb.
Did you guys know that tap by